Afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Vijay, and all the participants who have joined so far. Gentlemen, as I have been
Afternoon, sir.
mentioning every time, I do mention in the link also I was sending you that please join in time, but then somehow people are not taking up very seriously. There are few, about 20, 22 who have joined, but then I wish everybody joins on time. That's very, very important to maintain punctuality. However, we will not wait for anybody else to join because the time is precious for everyone, and Mr. Vijay has a lot of work to do. Now, not only that, starting on time has been our habit. We'll do that. So, giving you a brief introduction of Mr. Vijay Singh, gentlemen, as we all know, earlier also I have introduced that he is from the Regional Engineering College, Rourkela, from Odisha. He passed out in 1994 from the National Institute of Technology. Then he was in employment with as an active mining engineer, holding first class mine manager's certificate of competency. And he was working at that time in Billari Hospital area, and he has also worked for his mine. Later on, he has done the chartered accountancy. He has passed it out, and in 2008, and has been practicing now as a chartered accountant in Bangalore. So today, of course, his subject we know very well is MCR, it is that subject. So without taking much of a time, ladies and gentlemen, I will request Mr. Vijay Singh to take the floor and please start. Share your presentation and start, obviously. Over to Mr. Vijay.
Yeah, thank you, Vidyarthi sir, for the introduction. I think let me first share my screen. I'll start
Yeah.
sharing my screen. Sir, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
No, I'm going to the next screen. Movement dikh raha hai, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Power to
good.
frame MCDR. Yeah, okay.
Okay, good. So this is like a small tech check. Okay, good. Uh, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Vidyarthi sir. Thank you, Narsai sir. And thank you, Rashekar sir, seniors who have joined. Actually, there's a small change in the program. My
Just 1
session
minute,
was.
Vijay. I was just
Yeah.
about to announce that more participants come, then I'll announce it. Gentlemen, there is a small change. Our sessions 1 and 2 have been interchanged. I'll be taking in the next session, and it will be mostly about MSP and uh, rescue, daredevil rescue. And Mr. Vijay Singh is taking this particular session. So there is a slight change. Please put up with this. Yes, Vijay, please start.
Yeah, thank you again, Vidyarthi sir. Actually, the issue is from my side since I had some work and I had to attend some meeting and all. So that's the reason we have little bit changed the timings because we wanted this PDP program to continue. We do not want to defer. That is the reason this small change. I hope the participants will adjust and then continue, the way they have been going so far. Now, my topic is simple. It's MCDR 2017. MCDR, Mineral Conservation and Development Rules 2017. One of the simplest rules out of about 10 or 11 rules, this is one of the simplest rules. This rule is not as complicated as the concession rules 2016 or the auction rules. It's pretty simple. Basically, you have to understand these rules to prepare a mining plan, to prepare a mine closure plan, progressive mine closure or final mine closure, to prepare a reconnaissance scheme or scheme of prospecting. So these are the few things to prepare. You need to know these rules. So that is the reason we have been having this session right from MPDP 1. Now recently, Mr. Rashekar Saab has already taken you through the various nitty-gritties as to how the mining plan has to be prepared, what are the modalities, what is the procedure. So my aspect or my topic is only to explain you the provisions of MCDR only from the legal perspective. I am not getting into the aspect as to how a mining plan is to be prepared, how you have to go to the field, carry the survey. those things are outside the scope of today's session. So with this background, I'm going to start my presentation. So now, the first thing is we need to know the fundamentals. Now, where is the power to frame MCDR? If you go to section 8 of the MMDR Act, in fact, there are only two sections in the MMDR Act that talks about development of minerals, because MMDR Act is Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act. Development of minerals and regulation of mines. Now, development of minerals are covered only in two sections of the MMDR Act out of 59 sections. One of the sections is section 18. Here it clearly says the central government to take all steps as necessary for the conservation and systematic development of minerals in India and for protection of environment and to prevent or control any pollution that may be caused by prospecting or mining operations. As the central government, by notification in the official gazette, makes such rules as it thinks fit. Now, section 18 gives power to the central government to come up with MCDR 2017. This MCDR only the central government can do, not the state governments, because we have seen on my first day only that only for minor minerals the state governments are empowered, whereas MCDR for major minerals it is only by the central government. The states cannot come up with MCDR 2017 because the powers are given to the central government. Now, if you see, section 8 talks only about prospecting or mining operations. But if you go to MCDR 2017, it also talks about reconnaissance, prospecting and mining operations. So that means whether MCDR will apply to reconnaissance operations or not could be a question mark. Could be a question mark. There is a little gap in the drafting, I would say. But of course, what the central government has done, in August 2023, they have amended the definition of reconnaissance operations. Now, reconnaissance partly includes prospecting also. So that is the reason even MCDR talks about scheme of reconnaissance, scheme of prospecting, mining plan, etc., etc. So MCDR covers reconnaissance operations, prospecting operations, and mining operations. That is how we have to understand. Now, where is the genesis requirement of a mining plan? You go to section 5, subsection 2 of the MMDR Act. Here it talks about requirement of a mining plan. It clearly says no mining lease shall be granted by the state government unless it is satisfied that there is a mining plan duly approved by the central government or by the state government in respect of such category of mines as may be specified by the central government for the development of deposit, etc. Okay. Now, it clearly says no ML shall be granted by the state government. We have seen again in my MMDR session, land is always a state subject. The act is by the central government, but eventually the lease date is signed by the central government, state government only. Under Article 299, in the name of the governor, the state government signs the lease date. That's the reason they're clearly saying a state can sign a lease date only if there is a mining plan duly approved by central government. That means by IBM. Sometimes even the state government, if they have the requisite infrastructure, they can also approve a mining plan as far as major minerals is concerned, but they have to have the necessary infrastructure. They need to take approval from the central government. Only then they can also approve the mining plan for major minerals. That is how it has to be understood. Now, if you go to the concession rules 2016, it talks about chapter 5, rule 13, talks about preparation of mining plan on system of certification. Rule 13, it talks about mining plan approved by IBM or system established by the state government. Now, you go to concession rules, rule 13.3 says mining plan shall be prepared in accordance with the manual prepared by the IBM. Prior to MCDR 2017, we did have a manual. IBM did have a manual, but there was no legal sanctity. It was not part of the rules. Now, what the government has done, they have brought the manual also. Under Rule 13.3, they have said even the manual prepared by IBM has got legal sanctity. So, anybody preparing a mining plan has to follow this manual also. They have given legal sanctity, which was not there prior to MCDR 2017. There is no legal sanctity, but there was a manual. We were following the manual. because otherwise IBM would not approve the mining plan. That is the reason. But now there is legal sanctity. Now, Rule 15, who can prepare a mining plan? Somebody who has got a degree in mining in India, PG degree in geology in India, equivalent qualification from abroad and recognized by Government of India. Like generally medical fields and all, it happens, like somebody doing medicine from Russia or Ukraine, they have to come write an exam in India. Only then they're considered equivalent to MBBS. So similarly, even in mining, if you want to prepare a mining plan and if you have a degree outside of India, then that degree, if it is recognized by Government of India, only you are eligible to prepare a mining plan. One is degree or PG degree in geology, and they say professional experience of 5 years working in a supervisory capacity in the field of mining after obtaining the degree. So two requirements, degree or PG in geology in India and professional experience of 5 years. Now, that means a diploma holder cannot prepare a mining plan. AMI cannot prepare a mining plan. A member of Institution of Engineers. I think ideally, Institution of Engineers should do something. Prior to MCDR 2017, they were allowed, but now they are not allowed. Experience, they say 5 years of experience, but they don't clarify whether that experience should be in India or abroad. Suppose I have a degree in India, I go abroad, let's say I work in Australia, let us say for 5 years. Can I prepare? Am I eligible to prepare a mining plan? That clarity is not there. They only talk about professional experience. The other thing is supervisor capacity, they say. Professional experience of 5 years in a supervisory capacity. Now, what is a supervisor capacity? They should clearly bring out some clarification. Ideally, you should be working in the field. Supervisor capacity, let's say I worked only in the mine planning section, always in the office. Or I have worked in some admin capacity as a mining engineer. 5 years I worked, am I eligible? That is another question. Now, earlier, organizations were recognized. XYZ enterprises, a team of mining engineers or a geologist or a diploma holders, they were forming an entity in the name of a partnership firm, in the name of a proprietorship firm, and they were applying to IBM and they were getting the recognition. That issue concept was there earlier, but now everything is gone. Now you should be an individual. That is all, nothing beyond. If you form an organization, the organization is never recognized. Only an individual is recognized now. So that is how things have changed in MCDR 2017. Of course, this RQP, recognized qualification, qualified person concept, they've removed completely. After this amendment, after the new concession rules, they've removed this RQP. In fact, I was an RQP for 10 years, much before. But today, it's all gone. You should be a degree or a PG degree with 5 years experience. That is all is the requirement. Of course, a mining plan need not be prepared by one person. Even one or more than one person also can jointly prepare a mining plan. That is all, but there is no mandatory rule that multiple people should prepare a mining plan. Even one person is also accepted. Now, modification and review of mining plan. We all know, every 5 years a mining plan has to be reviewed and updated. That is there in Rule 17, Sub-Rule 1 of the Concession Rules 2016. And 180 days before expiry, we all know we need to apply for review and updation of the current mining plan. Scheme of mining, what we were thinking prior to 2015-16, it is not there now. But if you go to some of the minor mineral concession rules, they still talk about scheme of mining. First 5 years mining plan, second 5 years scheme of mining, third 5 years scheme of mining. That is, they don't talk about review or updation. Major minerals, they have amended, whereas minor minerals, they still talk about scheme of mining. So that's a small change. Now, what are the goals of MCDR? Why at all we need to have MCDR? They talk about the first goal is systematic development of mineral development deposits. Number 2, conservation of minerals. Number 3, protection of environment. These are the 3 goals of MCDR. And this is under the purview of Indian Bureau of Mines. Indian Bureau of Mines, we all know it is a government agency. They come under Ministry of Mines. They straight away report to the Secretary of the Mines Ministry. These are the 3 goals. In fact, I would say IBM has played a very big role as far as conservation of minerals are concerned. I will give an example. For example, iron ore. When I was working in the iron ore mines, Especially there was no market though in the 90s till about 2000s, early 2000, there was no market for fines. There was no market for low grade ore. In fact, IBM officials, they were telling us always, don't waste the minerals, stack it somewhere. Stack it somewhere, a time will come, you can dispose it off. They were always against wasting the grades also. Low grade, don't worry, stack it somewhere, don't mix it with the waste. But when the boom came, I don't know, 2003, when the boom came, whoever followed this conservation principles, they minted money. Hundreds and thousands of crores of people have minted money. All these tax and all are gone today. That is one credible thing done by IBM. We have to appreciate their efforts. Of course, they do focus on systematic development and protection of environment also. In fact, year after year, they conduct those environment celebrations and all. So that way it goes. Now, what is the trail of MCDR? MCDR was notified with effect from 27th of February 2017. It superseded MCDR 1988. For the first time, we had MCDR 1988. This MCDR is now superseded by MCDR 2017. Subsequently, we had an amendment in March 2018. August 2019 is another amendment. Third amendment in November 2021. This is a major amendment in November 2021. We had one in April 2022. The last amendment is January 2024. They had to amend MCDR because they introduced this concept of EL, exploration license. So that's the reason they had to amend MCDR. The last amendment was January 2024. Now, will the amendments end here? No. We will have more amendments in the years to come because the law is evolving. As and when they amend MMDR or some of the constitution rules, some of the aspects, they will amend MCDR also. So amendments will not stop here. It will be there. Almost, if you see, every 1.5 years, we did have some amendments. So that is how it's working. Now, very important thing, what is the applicability of MCDR 2017? It applies to all the minerals except petroleum and natural gas. It clearly says MCDR will not apply to petroleum and natural gas. Now, can somebody give me a proper answer? Why MCDR is not applicable to petroleum and natural gas? We did discuss on this on day one when I took a session in MMDR. If somebody has really attended the sessions properly and somebody is really interested, if is a real student of the MPDP sessions, can somebody tell me why MCDR is not applicable to petroleum and natural gas? A proper answer I want.
Sir, MMDR is also not applicable for petroleum and natural gas, sir.
Yes, that is half the answer. Why MMDR Act, petroleum and natural gas is not applicable to MMDR Act? Because petroleum also is a mineral, right? Natural gas also is a mineral, type of mineral. Why MMDR Act is not applicable to petroleum and natural gas? Maybe it's a little tricky answer. Okay, I will explain. See, MMDR Act is promulgated by the central government under entry 54 of list 1 of the 7th schedule of the Constitution. Now, if you go to entry, just the prior entry 53 of the first schedule, that means list 1 of the 7th schedule of the Constitution, it talks about oil and oil fields. It talks about oil and oil fields. There's a separate entry. Entry 53 is for oil and oil fields. Entry 54 is other minerals. Regulation of mines and development of minerals. So that is the reason MMDR Act is by virtue of entry 54, list 1, 7th schedule of the Constitution. 53 is for oil and oil fields. That includes petroleum and natural. That is the reason MMDR Act does not cover mineral oils, which includes petroleum and natural gas. If you go to section 3, definition of minerals, MMDR Act clearly says minerals includes all minerals except mineral oils. Now, what is mineral oil? Mineral oil is petroleum and natural gas. So this is the answer, the legally correct answer. So anyway, you have attempted, somebody attempted, I'm happy for that. This is the way you have to learn the law. All right, one MCDR, because MMDR is not applicable to petroleum, obviously even the rules, this will not be applicable. So MCDR is not applicable to petroleum and natural gas. They have also made MCR not applicable to coal, lignite and sand and for minor minerals. For minor minerals, they will have their own concession rules. Every state will have its own concession rules. In the concession rules only, they have brought in the aspects as far as preparation of mining plan is concerned. Coal, lignite, it is controlled not by IBM, it is by the coal commissioner. So earlier he was sitting in Calcutta, now I think I'm told he is in Ministry of Coal in New Delhi only. So that is the reason they've segregated. So MCDR is not applicable to these three categories. Rest for all other minerals it's applicable. What about atomic minerals? Part B of the first schedule. Is MCDR applicable to atomic minerals? Can somebody answer?
No, sir. I think for atomic and hydrocarbon minerals, there is a different rule itself, sir.
See, hydrocarbon is coal and lignite. That is anyway excluded. Whereas atomic is included here. MCDR is applicable to atomic minerals, part B of the first schedule to the MMDR Act. There are 6 entries. To all the 6, MCDR is applicable. But what they will do is, apart from MCDR, they will also refer to the atomic minerals rules and act. They have a separate act. They come under the Directorate of Atomic Minerals, etc., etc. So they will also be covered there. So for both the cases, so MCDR is applicable to atomic minerals also. Obviously, once it is applicable to atomic minerals, part B, it will apply to part C, that is metallic and non-metallic, and 4th schedule, notified minerals. All of them, MCDR is applicable. Only part A, low coal and lignite is not applicable. Petroleum and natural gas, we have already seen. Minor minerals, there is already a reason, because minor minerals are under the control and purview of the state government, and as per section 14, section 15, the powers are given to the state governments only. So this is the reason. All right, now moving forward, now approval of mining plans. Suppose you have both major and minor, there is a clarification by Ministry of Mines that IBM will approve. If you have both major and minerals, for example, limestone, shale was a minor minerals, was a major mineral earlier. In February 2015, it became a minor mineral. So it will be approved by IBM. Sometimes we will have limestone, shale and clay. So clay is a minor mineral. In this situation, if you have major and minor, then IBM will approve. If you have only minor, state will approve. That is the Directorate of Mines and Geology. If you have only major, the IBM will approve. So this is the distinction I wanted to bring it before you. We look at a couple of definitions. One is the definition of geologist. Other one is the definition of a mining engineer. The change here is geologist means a person should be appointed by the holder of mineral concession, not by a manager. As far as MCDR is concerned, a person should be appointed as a geologist, as such, by the holder of mineral concession. Similarly, mining engineer, holder of mineral concession only has to appoint, not by a manager. Why I am saying this is because in the Mines Act, a manager also is empowered. A manager is also empowered. He can appoint. Agent is empowered. He can. Whereas in MCDR, it clearly says holder of mineral concession. That means the lessee. He has to appoint a geologist and a mining engineer. Now, Rule 4 talks about scheme of reconnaissance and prospecting. This is a small change because of introduction of EL, exploratory license. What they have done is, in January 2024, they had to consider the exploratory license aspects also. Exploration license is given for reconnaissance and prospecting operations. So that is the reason they have substituted sub-rule 1 of Rule 4. They are now saying every holder of RPPL or a CL or an EL, okay, then within 90 days, he should get the scheme of reconnaissance or prospecting or both approved. If it is an auction case, then obviously you are given a letter of intent. So in all the cases, if it is a pure standalone RP, then 90 days after RP, standalone PL, mind you, not part of your CL. Standalone PL, they have said 90 days after you get the PL. Whereas EL and CL, they are saying, we give you letter of intent after auction. Within 90 days, get the scheme of reconnaissance or prospecting approved. Earlier it was 60 days. Now it is 90 days. Earlier they said regional controller, but somehow they have omitted the word regional controller. It was Controller General and Regional Controller or Authorized Officer earlier. Now they have omitted Regional Controller. They are only saying you should apply to Controller General or an Authorized Officer. In fact, Regional Controller can come by way of a backdoor entry also, because he can also be one of the Authorized Officer if the Controller General authorizes such RCM possible. Now, scheme of reconnaissance or prospecting or both, because they again introduce this phrase or both. Again, they have to cater to EL, exploration license, because exploration license, it talks both about reconnaissance and prospecting. That is the reason they have to amend. And then they also are saying any scheme of reconnaissance or prospecting you have to prepare in the format as specified by IBM. So again, they are giving legal sanctity to the format as notified by IBM. So that is how it has to be understood. Now, modification of scheme of reconnaissance or prospecting, you can modify, absolutely no problem. Rule 5 talks about modification. You can modify it for two reasons. Reason number one, on geological consideration, or if it is directed by the Controller General or any authorized officer, you have to get your scheme modified. Let's say initially you get a scheme of reconnaissance. After 1 year you want to modify, you can modify. There's no bar, you can. But again, reason should be only on geological consideration, or if at all directed by the Controller General or the authorized officer. Now, to modification within 30 days, you need to intimate to the concerned authority, that is the Controller General or any other authorized officer. But now what they have done is, one mandatory insertion they have done in Sub-Rule 3 with effect from January 2024. They have introduced Sub-Rule 3. They are saying if it is an EL, exploratory license, then mandatory after 3 years, you have to modify your scheme of reconnaissance or prospecting. Mandatorily after 3 years, you have to get your scheme of reconnaissance or prospecting modified. The reason being, exploratory license, if you go to section 10BA, subsection 11, it clearly says after 3 years, the EL holder should retain only 25% of the assigned area. 75% is supposed to surrender. So originally you would have prepared your scheme of reconnaissance or prospecting for the full area. After 3 years, you have to retain only 25%. So mandatorily you have to modify towards the end of third year. That is how they have introduced this mandatory rule in Sub-Rule 3. So this is the change they have brought in. Now, I've already discussed this. Can the scheme of reconnaissance or prospecting or both be modified within 3 years? Yes. By EL owner also, on geological consideration you can, or if directed by CG. Is it mandatory to modify at the end of 3 years? I already discussed. Yes, it is mandatory. It is mandatory for an EL holder at the end of 3 years. This is a summary I have made just for your reference. All these are the 4 rules that talk about scheme of reconnaissance and prospecting. Rule 4, Rule 5, 6 and 7. Rule 4 talks about within how many days. Earlier it was 60, now it has become 90. Rule 5 talks about modification. Modification, voluntary or mandatory. Rule 6 says your reconnaissance or prospecting has to be in line with the scheme as approved. Otherwise you will fall foul of the law. Then intimation about reconnaissance and prospecting operation, you have to intimate in Form A within 15 days of commencement of your operations to the RCM, Regional Controller or Authorized Officer, and the state government. Earlier, state and regional controller were not involved, but the moment you get your scheme approved and you are about to start your reconnaissance or prospecting operations, they are saying within 15 days you are supposed to intimate to the regional controller and the state government in Form A. So this is all about the scheme of reconnaissance and prospecting. Now, Rule 8 talks about inspection. If you really read, there are 2 sub-rules, 8.1 and 8.2. It clearly says inspection is applicable only to PL or CL or EL holders. Somehow they've forgotten to include RP holders. That means no inspection can be carried out of RP holders, reconnaissance permit holders. Of course, today non-coal, if you go, there are no standalone RPs. There are no standalone reconnaissance permit. After 28th of March 2021, they have done away with issuing RP holders. Even the people who had RP, reconnaissance permit, their right to convert RP into PL, PL to ML was taken away in March 2021. Maybe that is also one of the reasons, but MCDR was there from 2017, but somehow they missed it. So it was clearly an aspect that inspection could not have been carried out of an RP holders. That is how it was drafted. But anyway, today it makes no difference because there are no standalone RPs today. Either you have CL or EL or ML, that is all. You will never have standalone PL, you will never have standalone RP. Now, another thing they've introduced is reporting, submission of reports, which was not there before. Only in January 2024, they've introduced Subrule 1 and 1A. Okay. In fact, they've substituted Subrule 1. They are now saying we have to mandatorily submit half-yearly report along with Form B. They are talking about calendar year, Jan to June. By 15th of August, they have given you about 46 days to submit the report along with Form B. Similarly, July to December, second half of the calendar year, within 15th of February, you are supposed to report. Now, this report should go to the authority, IBM, and also to the state government. That is a small change they have brought in. Now, exploration license, exploratory license, shall within 3 months, because the purpose of giving exploration license is this man has to come up with a geological report. With the geological report, the government will directly go in for an auction of ML. That is the whole effort as to why EL is given. So that means mandatorily within 3 years, or if the period is extended, okay, initially EL is given for 5 years. You can complete before 3 years, you can complete at about 3 years or a little later, and 5 years can be extended to 7 years also. But whenever you complete, you have to mandatorily give one geological report, and you have to identify the area that will be suitable towards grant of mining lease. So this is the small change they have brought in recently. They have also substituted Subrule 3. Again, what they have done is it is not only to EL or PL holders, they are also covering the private agencies. Because if you go to section 4, second proviso, subsection 1, it clearly says certain private entities also can enter into this exploration arena. Even those people have to submit this half-yearly report along with Form B. And sometimes you want to abandon for whatever reason. Then also you have to submit a report within a period of 30 days from the date of such abandonment. Of course, there's a clause of keeping the data confidential for a period of 2 years. But yes, 9A they have introduced deliberately from Jan 2024. This is basically meant for EL holders. Because what happens if you are doing EL, exploratory work under EL, then you will have a lot of sensitive data available with you. Geological information you are not supposed to reveal. The holder of EL shall not in any manner disclose the information, etc., without prior approval of the central government. Because if the EL holder reveals the actual reserve, then there's no point, there's no fun. So that is the reason they have introduced 9.1 so that you maintain the confidentiality of the data, of the resources, etc. Rule 11 talks about mining operations under ML. They are clearly saying mining operations, we all know without a mining plan, I can't carry out any mining operations. And nowadays, if you don't have a mining plan, your further procedures will get halted. Because mining plan is a base document to get FC, to get EC, to get consents, etc. And eventually the lease deed is signed. Without a mining plan, nothing will happen. And obviously, once you have a mining plan, you are supposed to work as per the activities as you agree upon in the mining plan. Now, let us say you don't carry out, then there is a penal consequence. They are saying they will issue a violation notice. First, they will issue a violation notice and they will give you 45 days to rectify. If you don't rectify, then they will issue a show cause notice. And in a show cause notice, they will give you 30 days. So, within this 45 and 30 days, you are supposed to rectify whatever deficiency they have found because of inspection, etc., in your mining operations. Otherwise, they can suspend. But if you rectify the shortcomings, then they will revoke the suspension. That is also there. The only thing I want to emphasize here is under Rule 11. In the Rule 11, if at all, if there is any deviation from the mining plan, he has to first issue a notice, violation notice, and then only show cause notice. You can't, under Rule 11, an authority cannot directly issue a show cause notice. In some cases, they can issue a direct show cause notice. I will discuss this little later. Now, mining operations under ML, we all know 180 days before expiry, you have to apply for the next 5-year period review and updation. But then there was an issue. Suppose there is a temporary stoppage, then what do we do? If there is a temporary stoppage of mining or mineral processing operations, then what do we do? They have inserted a provision now in January 2024. They are saying, let's say your operations have stopped, temporary discontinuance we call, for more than 270 days. And if you have intimated to the concerned state government or IBM in a particular forum E, then you don't have to stick to this 180-day period of getting your mining plan updated or reviewed. You can get it updated whenever you are about to commence your or recommence your mining operations. So that is a small change they have brought from January 2024. Now, another thing, Rule 12, they have now made it mandatory. The holder of mining lease has to carry out G1 level exploration within 5 years. Within 5 years from the date of opening of a mine. Let's say you are a successful bidder, so you have executed the lease deed. Let us say you executed the lease deed in January 2024. Generally, the auctions are happening on the basis of G2 level reports. If you have seen any tender notification, they clearly say any agency, they have explored only at G2 level. In some cases, we have seen they have done up to G1. Basically, those mines where they have worked for 40-50 years and all, and if the agency is confident. Now, recently in Karnataka, some of the areas, like October, November, there was a tender. Few areas, they have auction on the basis of G1 level also. But by and large, 80-90%, the auction on the basis of G2 level exploration only. If you have acquired any G2 level area, then they are asking you to mandatorily carry out G1 level exploration within 5 years. Now, there is a question. So, rule has come now, then they gave us 5 years time. Let's say I had a mine already in February 2017, because MCDR was introduced in February 2017, they gave 5 years window. Within 5 years, you get it done. So, that is a change. Now, notice of opening, we all know, we give in Form C. Form C as appended to schedule. It is not scheduled, it is Schedule 1. There are 3 schedules now. Actually, all the forms are part of Schedule 1. Again, this is a drafting error. Somebody forgot to say it is Schedule 1. When they amended, they introduced 2 more schedules in November 2021, but they forgot that, here and there they have to carry out certain modifications. But Chalta has small issues. The holder of ML has to give a notice of opening in Form C, not by an agent, manager, or a mining engineer. But if you go to the Form C, bottom, if you see, there is still reference of owner, agent, mining engineer, or manager, whereas the rule says holder of ML. That means a lessee only. But some of the forms still talks about owner, agent, mining engineer, or manager. So these are few gaps. In fact, some of the forms, if you see, you still have reference to MCDR 1988. Even today, they have not deleted those. They should have amended. Even some of the forms, the skeleton is still of MCDR 1988. The skeleton is still of MCDR 1988 only. They have to amend a little bit, but anyway, the government is slow. One day they'll wake up and amend. Now, submission of final mine closure plan, we all know it is 2 years before the proposed closure or surrender. But here, Sub-Rule 1 talked about closure plan should accompany certain fees. I have underlined that. But what is that fee? Till now, they are not notified. I don't know the reasons. Fees are yet to be notified for foreclosure. You don't do, we all know, they will forfeit our financial assurance or a performance security if it's an auction case. Or if a case where you have signed MDPA and if you have given a performance security, because if you give a performance security, then there's no need to give a bank guarantee. As a financial assurance not required. This is small change. So now the question is, modification of mine closure plan. I have got a final mine closure plan approved 2 years before. I have applied, I have got it approved. Can the competent authority reject modification of approved mine closure plan? Let us say I have got, 2 years before I applied, I have got the final mine closure plan approved. After 6 months, for some reason, I want to apply for modification of mine closure plan. Once I approve, can the authority reject? Because authorities, whoever approves, he can reject also. Can he reject? But the rule clearly says no. Once mine closure is approved, authority is denuded of its powers to reject. He can only suggest some modification, some improvisation, or he may say, I am not going to accept your modification, continue the version mine closure plan. He can never ever reject your approved final mine closure plan. So it is there in rule 2. You can check it later. So financial assurance. This is another important topic. In fact, I have put 3 columns here. I have compared across the rules. How it was in MCDR 1988. How it was when MCDR 2017 was introduced, and there was an amendment in November 2021. The current, what is the position? This amendment that happened in 2021 continues even today. Category A, Category B. What is a Category A mine, Category B mine? Many of you may be knowing. But again, for some of you who are not aware, Category A is basically a fully mechanized mine. A fully mechanized mine. Or if your manpower in all is 150 or more, or 75 or more underground. Or if any of the operations are mechanized, whether it is drilling, excavation, loading and handling, if any of these, one of these operations are fully mechanized, then also it's a category mine. Everything else is a category B mine. This, where do you find? You go to rule 55, it talks about what is category A and category B. Now category A, in MCDR 1988, they were taking 0.25 lakhs per hectare. It became 3, now it is 5 lakhs per hectare. Similarly, for category B, it was 0.15 lakhs per hectare, now it is 2, 2 has become 3. Minimum amount, it was 2 earlier, 1988 rules. Now it is 10 lakhs, it continues, there is no change. There is no change. But yes, somebody who has given a performance security, 0.5% of the estimated value of resources. I'm sure when you attended the auction session, you would have discussed this. Somebody who has given a performance security, he need not give financial assurance, not required. Not required. But now the question is, in 1988 rules, I had an option to give this financial assurance by way of a bank guarantee after or at about the time I could have executed the MLD. But today, they are silent on this. The moment you get LOI, the moment you go to get your mining plan approved, they are asking for a bank guarantee, financial assurance. If you're not an auction case, they're asking for a bank guarantee by way of financial assurance. But even now, you go to Rule 27, Sub-Rule 1, it talks about holder of ML only has to give a bank guarantee. But somehow, because LOI holder is not the holder of ML. ML holder is only after he becomes a successful bidder once he executes the mining lease date. So that is a small change they have brought in. Now, in certain states like for example Karnataka, because of illegal mining and all, because of the judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court, we were forced to do R&R, reclamation rehabilitation. This was also akin to my progressive mine closure activities. If I have done this, let's say I spent some 5 crores on R&R, reclamation rehabilitation. To that extent, my financial assurance amount can be reduced. To that extent, my financial assurance amount can be reduced. Let us say my financial assurance amount comes to 20 crores. So 5 crores I've already spent on R&R. So I will give a bank guarantee only for 15 crores. That is allowed. That is allowed. That is there in 3rd proviso to Rule 27 Sub-Rule 2. Now, release of financial assurance. When the financial assurance is released, only when your lease period is expired, once you surrender your lease area or your lease area is terminated, and if you have fulfilled the agreed upon activities as agreed in the final mine closure plan. But let me tell you, practically, I have not seen any case where people have got back their bank guarantees. Very difficult. Very difficult. It's the only there in theory. Once I give a bank guarantee, that's all. They will not come and verify. Even I will not do anything. The bank guarantee just remains. Many a times the bank guarantee will lapse, but will just remain like that. You can check the statistics from Indian Bureau of Mines. How many such bank guarantees they have released? Very doubtful. Hardly any bank guarantees they have released. It's only on paper. But here, Rule 27.3 talks about the lessee can give a notice to the authorities in IBM to release the bank guarantee. This is the only provision where the lessee can give notice to the IBM authorities. The wording uses notice given by the lessee. Recently, there was one circular by IBM saying that even this has to be done online, no manual, no online. You have to give this notice. Recently, there is, but I don't know how many people have got the bank guarantee back. I really don't know because very rare they give back this bank guarantee. Even though you would have surrendered the area would have been auctioned also. Anyway, the financial assurance, I give it for the area put to use for mining and allied activities. Mode of payment of financial assurance to date is only by way of bank guarantee. Earlier, some kind of security deposit I could have given, by way of bond I could have given under the old rules. But now it is mandatorily bank guarantee only. Now, Rule 31, they again amended in November 2021 because they wanted to introduce this drone survey thing. Okay, so that's the reason some changes they have done in 21, in Rule 31. What they are doing is plans and sections shall be updated pertaining to in category class A 3 months and 12 months, and then here Rule 34 1A they have introduced saying that because they wanted to introduce drone survey, they clearly said all plans in section shall be prepared by using a combination of DGPS or total station or by use of drone survey or as may be specified by IBM in relation to category or all category of leases. Prior to this, drone survey was not there. We were doing with total station, or in my days, we were doing with the use of theodolite sonar. Then we graduated total station, then to DGPS. Now they are talking about drone survey. So to give effect to drone survey, they have to amend the rules. That's the reason they introduced one capital A. Now, after introducing this one capital A, they also introduced a new rule in November 2021, Rule 34A, wherein they say every lessee, mind you, every lessee having an annual excavation plan of 1 million ton or more in a particular year, or a leased area 50 hectares or more, in the month of April or May, you have to fly a drone and 100 meters surrounding, and before first day of July, you have to submit the output. Whether it by way of DEM, digital aviation model, or orthomosaic images, you are supposed to do this. Now, they talk about annual excavation plan of 1 million ton. It is only a plan. They disregard your actual excavation. Your excavation may be less, but you still, suppose in your mining plan, you agreed that this year I am doing excavation of 1 million ton, then mandatorily you have to go in for drone survey. No, excavation means whether ore or mineral or waste or combination of both. They have not clarified, but according to me, it has to be both. Otherwise, the word excavation will lose its significance. Ore again, processed or unprocessed, this is another area they have to clarify. And they talk about submission to Controller General or authorized person, not to RSOM. But invariably, we give a copy to RSOM also, apart from Controller General. Now, these are some of the things. This is when we were doing, after, we were actually doing on blueprints, then slowly we graduated to CAD, CAM and all. We were preparing drawing like this. Today, you have to prepare, something like this. It's the same area, look at the difference. So this is the drone output. I'm sure many members are aware. In fact, all you members will be aware, more aware than me, because I am not so much into the technical field now, because I've drifted towards the legal line. So this is another DEM model. Okay. They also say, if you are not covered by 1 million or 50 hectares, then they are saying you have to give an ortho image with georeference. Earlier it was without georeference. This drawing is with georeference. After georeferencing, you have to give an ortho image. You don't have to fly the drone. If you don't fit into that 1 million criteria or 50 hectare criteria, then this is what you have to do. This you have to do every year. But technically, if you see, they have not left anybody. Almost everybody will get covered. I'll tell you how. If, let us say, my area is only 40 hectares, my excavation is below 1 million ton, then that means I'll be submitting only ortho image. But if you go to the subsequent rules, they say every lessee, whenever you go for modification of mining plan, review or updation, mandatorily you have to fly a drone. then that means that benefit I will lose. Mandatorily, you have to fly a drone. So that means they have not left anybody. Not only this, all preferred bidders, whoever has got LOI, mandatorily has to fly a drone. So that means they have practically left nobody. At one point or the other, every leaseholder, major mineral leaseholder, has to fly a drone, has to prepare those orthomosaic images along with the DEM, and he has to supply. So that was one of the other point in time, people will get caught. Of course, there is SOP and all they've released. I'm sure I would have discussed when the mining plan session was taken. Now, sustainable mining, this is nothing but those, star ratings and all. Of course, now it is mandatory. We all know, for everybody, it is mandatory now. On or before 1st July of every year, you have to do self-assessment. There's a template by IBM. You have to do self-assessment. On or before 1st of July, you are supposed to upload. You are supposed to upload on the IBM portal. There is a specific dedicated portal. Of course, members must be aware. Some people would have participated also. And you have to maintain certain minimum star rating. But yes, one provision, one small leeway they have given now. They are saying if your mining operations or mineral processing operations are discontinued for a period exceeding 180 days during the previous financial year, then you are not subject to this template filling business at all. For that year, you could be, for example, 23-24, I have not operated for more than 180 days. Then for that year, I get an exemption. I don't have to get myself into the rigors of this star rating and all, not required. This is a provision inserted in Jan 2024. Mining or mineral processing operations. They don't say only mining. Maybe I'm doing mining, but my mineral processing operations are not being worked for more than 180 days. Then I don't have to go through this rigors. Confirmation of star rating. Again, we all know the officer has to mandatorily visit, carry out inspection. See, don't you think indirectly the government is forcing the IBM officers to visit? Otherwise, for years on end, they were not inspecting. But now, because of star rating, mandatorily, every officer is duty bound to visit now. So it is kind of become mandatory. Indirectly, the government is enforcing this. At least for star rating, he will go. So that is the whole concept. Now, it talks about 3/4 principle. What is this 3/4 principle? Every mine within a period of 4 years, mandatorily 3-star rating, a mine has to achieve. Why this 4-year leeway? Because the rule was introduced much later. That's the reason that 4-year period was given. When MCDR was introduced in February 2017, 4 years time. Let us say if you're a new case, then also 4 years time they give you. Otherwise, we all know what will be the consequences. They can suspend your mining operations, etc., etc. Now, the other issue was, let's say there is a delay. There is a delay in filing the template. Then they are saying, boss, will levy you 10,000 rupees. 10,000 rupees kind of late filing fees per day. Mind you, per day. I have delayed for 30 days. So 30 into 10,000, 3 lakh rupees gone. So that is another penal consequences they have. So, but of course, if you are not complying, if you are having a star rating below 3-star and all, they can suspend. But of course, the suspension can be revoked once you meet the criteria. There's no problem. Now, the other issue is Rule 37, storage of overburden or waste rock. In fact, I did discuss this when I took a session on MPDP Act. The question was whether dumping of waste can happen outside the ML area. Whether dumping can happen outside the ML area. There was an Honorable Supreme Court decision in Goa Foundation in April 2014. They clearly said dumping cannot happen outside the lease area. Not possible. This is the judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court. So whatever dumping, you have to do it within the lease area. Outside the lease area, it was not allowed at all. Now recently, the Ministry of Mines, they have given a clarification. You can do it outside the lease area, but that area also has to become part of your ML. You can take outside the lease area, but first of all, you identify the area, but that area should be non-mineralized, and IBM should approve that area, and then you apply to the state government. Then the state government has to execute a supplementary lease date, and then only you are allowed to dump outside the original lease area. Possible now in just 28th of November 2024, they have given this clarification. You can go to the ministry website, you will get this clarification. So now they are slowly allowing. I remember somewhere in Maharashtra, one entity, I forgot the name, Maharashtra government, before this clarification, they have already executed something like that. According to me, that was not correct. But now there is a clarification, you can go ahead. There's no problem. But yes, you have to follow the proper procedures. Only then you can take your dump material, waste material outside this area. Possible. Now, monthly and annual returns, there's some changes they have done. Earlier, it used to be, who has to file monthly or annual return? It was only the holder of mining lease. Now they are saying mineral concession holders. They are not saying only the mining lease holders, but even the concession holder is supposed to, file certain returns, etc., etc. And earlier, only the lease holders, that means the concession holders, end user, trader, stockist, and exporter. These people are mandatorily covered by MCDR Rule 45 earlier. Now they have also covered importers. If you are a pure play importer, you are only importing the minerals and you are selling in the local market, then also you are supposed to register. That means they have left nobody, everybody has to get registered. Rule 45, Form K. So you have to, there is a period also when you have to get it registered within 1 month of the concession holder. Or if you are involved in trading, storage, induce, export or import, just before commencement, you are supposed to register with IBM. Then monthly and annual returns, we all know, we are all filing, of course, everywhere. Every lease holder today we are submitting online only. Though the holder, the question is, whenever we submit monthly returns, we not, sometimes if it is a digitally signed, directly it goes online. Otherwise, I take a hard copy and send it to the authorities in IBM. We are also sending a copy to the state government. Now, the question was, where is it in the rule? That where is it sent that I need to submit to the state government also? If you go to Rule 53, here it talks about submission of any copies of notices or returns and reports to the state government also. Rule 53 says, whatever you report to submit to IBM, also submit a copy to the state government. That is the reason I submit to the state government also. I don't know how many of you have noticed, when MCDR was introduced in 2017, they wanted to come up with an app, mobile application, one app, and wherein they wanted the leaseholders to daily input the production data, production and dispatch data, daily, T+3 days they were giving. Like today's production, third day, by end of the third, like Monday's production, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, by 6 o'clock, I was supposed to input the data. But unfortunately, the department, the IBM never developed this app. Nothing has happened. Silently in November 2021, they omitted this provision. Clause A was omitted. How many of you have noticed? I'm not sure. This was there. It was there on the radar, but they have omitted. Nothing can be done. Okay. Any person or company engaged in trading or storage or induce or export shall submit online to IBM and consent state government. Even not only the consents. 10 minutes, sir. I'll finish. I'm sorry. So now, if you submit incomplete or wrong or false information, then what will happen? These are the consequences. They can order suspension of all mining operations and dispatches. Earlier, dispatches was not there. They said only mining operations, but now they are saying, boss, even dispatches we are going to stop. Earlier, only operations they were halting. Now in November 2021, they said, boss, तुम्हारा stock भी हम लोग बाहर जाने देगा नहीं. And here, they will serve a show cause notice directly. They will serve a show cause notice directly. They will not serve a notice at all. They will serve a show cause notice, and then the consequences will follow. And then if you there are penalties also. Schedule 2, they talk about amount to be paid if you violate any of the rules. Any incomplete, wrong or false information, 5,000 or 10,000 per day. But many times what we do is we request the IBM to refer back the return. Once they refer back, they give us a time, 1 week or 15 days. Within that we rectify, then there is nothing. No, we don't pay any penalty, any fees at all. And even for the other stakeholders, whether end user, etc., end user, exporter, importer, the stockist, even for him, there is some penalty fixed by the department, by IBM. And these are the monthly or annual returns. So the presentation will be shared with you. I have listed all the forms, F1, G1, this monthly returns, etc., etc. Now, change of name in the mine, you have to intimate. Earlier, I was to intimate. That means when MCDR 2017 was introduced, now they are saying the state government on its own also can change the name of the mine. One is when you make an application, now they have raised the powers. The state government also can change the name of the mine. Now, employment of geologists and mining engineers, there's a small modifications they've done. Now, category A, they have given a small leeway. Category A mines, you can have, category A, there's slight relaxations. Lease area equal to or above 25 hectares only full-time mining engineer or a geologist. Category A below 25 hectares and category mines, you can have a part-time mining engineer or a part-time geologist. Okay, similarly, and they have also brought in a diploma holder with second class who is getting a mining engineer. Getting mining engineer is becoming difficult, so they have recognized now in November 2021 a diploma with the second class is also fine, or a diploma with the second class with the foreman for the category B is also fine. When I say part-time, that means a part-time engineer or a part-time geologist, he can be employed in 6 cases. In 6 prospects he can, but it has to be within a radius of 50 kilometers only and not more. Of course, there is a penalty also. This is the penalty amount. Suppose, there is within 180 days, you are supposed to, get your mining plan done, or you have to submit your, mine closure plan, or you have not given certain notice of appointments. So for all of it, there is a penalty fixed here. But again, what they have done is they have introduced another column, exactly the same thing. They have introduced another column in January 2024. They are saying a small relaxation they are given. If you are an area up to 25 hectares and production up to 2 lakhs per ton, this is a small change they have done. This PPT will be shared. You can check. So these are the forms I have listed. So form A, B, C, etc., etc. So the one last concept I want to drive across is ROM, run of mine. You go to the concession rules, there is a definition of ROM. It clearly says raw, unprocessed or uncrushed material in natural state obtained after blasting and digging from mineralized zone or release. There is a definition of ROM, but unfortunately, IBM does not publish average sales price of ROM. Till today, they are not publishing. So we have been raising this matter before the IBM, but they are not doing. Even today, especially for iron ore and all, we still have a difficulty. So we don't know what is the ASP of ROM, but still we are forced to pay royalty on some random basis. IBM is saying they'll do something, but till now nothing they have done. So this is all I had from my side. Little bit you have to pardon me because I had a meeting, so I had to little bit rush through. So this is all I had. It's a little simple rules only. My aim was to give you the key concepts and give you the fundamentals. So that's what I have done. I'll be sharing the PPT. You can go through. Now immediately, if anybody has got any queries. Any quick queries, I can take it up and then I'll clarify, or you can share it to Vidyarthi Sahab also. I will definitely reply all of them. Now, some queries I see here by Mr. Rajshekhar in the chat box. I think Mr. Rajshekhar query I need not answer. Okay, because he is a senior. He's a senior. Okay, but he's the only one who has put some queries. But anyway, I think something on coal, I think I've already clarified. Atomic minerals, apart from MCDR, they also have to go to their atomic concession rules and the Atomic Act, they have a separate enactment. Both they have to follow. Like for example, offshore minerals, I follow MMDR Act. I also follow Offshore Mineral Area Development and Regulation Act. Both have to follow. Something similar, I have to do it for atomic minerals. So that is the explanation, Rajshekhar sir. Anybody else? A couple of questions I will take before I close my session because I have to rush through now. I have another meeting to attend. So yes,
sir,
please.
Sir, one question, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
use of ROM for pellet making, sir. It will be a captive purpose or non-captive purpose. Iron ore for pellet making, sir.
See, are you a captive lease? Then it will be captive because today there is a change. Section 10B, I think provision to subsection 6, they have clearly said none of the auctions will happen on captive basis. In the past, old cases, if you are granted as a captive, whether it is ROM or no ROM, it makes no difference. If it is captive, what was the earlier definition? 100% of the production should be used within the same industry. Now, pellet is an industry or not, that you have to convince the state government. If they have recognized pellet as an industry, then I don't see a problem. Anyway, you have to do value addition. I don't see a problem. But again, you have to see your specific clauses. When you say captive, when the area has been given as a captive, what was the end use that you had agreed with the government? That you have to see. Then did you tell to the state government that, sir, I am going to do only pellets? Then if they recognize, then yes, that could be a captive consumption alone. If you have said no, I will be doing steel making, some alloys I'll be making, or something else I'll be making, then sir, it will be difficult. So this is again fact based. You have to get into the details. So check the agreement that you have signed.
Thank you, sir.
Some message, Mr. Vinayak ERM group, is there a voice echo? I don't know. I think people are able to hear. I don't know. Maybe Mr. Vinayak, you may have to check your own system, your office system, because I think everybody else is able to hear me.
No, it's
Yes, sir,
okay.
anybody else having any query?
Well, thank you.
Query?
Thank you very much, Mr. Vijay Singh, for having spared your valuable time. I know that you have a meeting afterwards, and that was the reason for interchange of the session, that I have agreed to take the second session, and Mr. Vijay Singh is taking the first session. Now, if there are any queries, quickly finish it, because then he has to go for the meeting. You can send your queries later also in writing, either to me or to Mr. Vijay Singh, and they'll all be answered. Don't worry about it. So, okay, I take that there are no more queries. So, friends,
Sir,
will.
one single.
Yeah, please, Mr. Rakesh, please.
Sir, if any leases, if the lease is granted for a captive purpose, it was that 50% of the material can be used. So after that,
Yes.
there was a draft. After that, there was a draft, sir, which says that either before or after the plant requirement, it can be consumed. But after that, there was no such update, sir. Now, what is the status, sir? Like we can use only after the satisfaction of plant requirement, or we can use in the beginning itself, sir?
Rakesh, it is there in the Act only. Why you need a circular? You go to section 8 capital A, I think subsection 7. It's very clear. You have to first meet the requirements of the plant, and then only
Yes,
you are
sir.
supposed to supply. It is there in the Act itself. You don't need any clarification.
True,
Act is
sir.
very clear.
True, sir. It is after the complete utilization at the plant end. But after that, because if there is any issues or if there is any shutdowns or if there is anything, and if you could not make it in the initial stages, there was one draft which was told that there should be 50% of the utilization, irrespective of the beginning or the at end of the financial year. That was there, sir. There was some draft notice which was published for the public opinion, but later that could not come up. That was the clarification I require.
See, I don't think we should look into those draft notification. For example, like royalty on royalty, they wanted to introduce some draft rules in the concession rules that is hanging from 2022. In fact, the matter is before the Supreme Court also. But see, until unless it is finalized, we don't consider that. These draft issues keep coming up.
True, sir.
But as of now, follow what is there in the Act, period. Nothing beyond, nothing more. According to me, Act has clarified.
Yes, sir.
And in Karnataka, there is a case also. I remember there is a case, I think somewhere in the early 2024, 100% captive was converted to 50%. That option was allowed. I know I don't want to name the name of the company. So it is there. It's allowed.
Yes,
There's
sir,
no problem.
That is there, sir. But the only thing is now, if anybody is required, then they should take the same route which the plant that has taken, right, sir?
Yeah, see, now the law itself is in your favor. Comply with this section. According to me, matter in there. If at all you are given 100% captive, just intimate the government that, sir, now there is a relaxation in the rules. from March 2021, and this is what I am doing, and I am meeting the criteria. That one intimation should go according to me. That is all. Nothing else.
Okay, sir.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. And thanks, Vijay, for having taken the session so quickly, finishing it off also. Well, gentlemen, before we conclude the session, I thank Mr. Vijay Singh that in spite of his hectic schedule ahead and before, he has taken this session. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Vijay. And gentlemen, before we conclude, may I request all the participants to quickly switch on your video so that we can have one snapshot with Vijay Singh. Yeah? All others? Quickly? Just one more shot. Just 1 second.
Sir, done.
Just 1 sec. One because half only have come. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Prashant is not there. Okay. Keep your smile, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, all participants, for your patient listening, and Mr. Vijay Singh for advancing the schedule and spending all the time with them. So thank you very much once again. And now, friends, he has finished quite early. So what we'll do, we'll take about 20-25 minutes break, and 4:45 we'll start the next session. Okay? Next.
Yes, sir. One more minute, please. 4:45.
Oh, sure. Okay. Take your time. Welcome back, friends. And the first topic I'm taking today, this evening, is on safety management plan, mine safety management system. So the very first slide you can see, I'll just start the presentation like this. Is it visible to all? All can see this? Okay.
Yes,
sir.
That's good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good. So I'll just give you a small overview of what I'm going to present about the accidents, the crisis, elements of crisis, hazard identification, risk assessment, risk quantification, risk rating, crisis management, fault tree analysis, and jury window. Now, in that few items, I'll skip because which I think that probably majority of you will be knowing come across is because of shortage of time. I'll just skip a few and I'll go through the rest of them. Most important in all of them is the risk rating. That's what one thing which probably many of the engineers are not in the practice of doing. Second one is the jury window. These two I will definitely cover. And after that, I also have a 5 minutes presentation for you all on personal safety, that is on family emergency. 5 minutes, that also I'll take. Then I'll go to the next one. So risk analysis, it is the process of identifying and analyzing the potential danger or hazards that could negatively impact the key operations or the projects. Risk analysis is done in order to help an organization to avoid or mitigate those risks, right? Now, coming to risk management system. So first and the foremost thing is we have hazard identification, then we have the risk evaluation, risk analysis, prioritization, management plan for risk mitigation, implementation of the plan, monitoring and review, and finally the documentation. Now, before we go into it, can anybody answer me what is a hazard? Anyone? Gentlemen?
Any potential harm, sir?
Pardon?
Any potential harm is called hazards.
But what is hazard? How do you define a hazard? Okay, doesn't matter. I'll just tell you. Hazard is actually
damage caused to people.
yeah, that is the impact of hazard, right? But what is a hazard? How do you define a hazard? Hazard is a physical situation which can take into the shape of a disaster and cause a severe damage to property or people. So basically, it's a physical situation. Say like you are sitting under a roof. There is a crack in the roof. That crack is a hazard. And when it falls, it becomes a big accident or a risk. But as long as it is there, it's a potential hazard, hidden, not seen, till it is realized. So that remains, that's a hazard. And what is risk evaluation? That you evaluate when you know a particular risk is existing in your project or plant or in mine, how to do the evaluation of it, how to find out how serious it is and what impact is going to do on the system or on the people. And same thing is done by risk analysis, that once you do the evaluation, then you analyze and put the risk in order, or you do that's called prioritization. For that I'll show a very good screen separately after this. So management plan for risk mitigation is how you plan out for the mitigation of the risk. That's called the management plan. Implementation of the plan is definitely there, that once you make a plan, you implement it. Then you monitor it, review it, and document it. Now coming to risk rating, as I said, that most important in risk is the rating of the risk. How do you rate a risk? There are 2 or 3 risks in front of you. How do you say which is number 1, which is number 2? And what is the criteria for the rating of risk? Suppose you see one picture of a banana peel, right? Everybody can see this? Participants?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now you see bungee jumping. This is a water sport, okay?
Yes,
Now see a picture of a small child playing with the medicine.
Yes, sir.
Then you see a guy jumping on the cliff,
Yes, sir.
lightning,
Yes, sir.
and a person barefoot going to step over a stack, right?
Yes, sir.
Then ashtray in the bed,
Yes, sir.
a lady standing on a step stool with high heels, and this is called the bullfight, and a bullet. So can anybody answer out of these 10, which is the most risky?
Obviously, bullet, no? Bullet, no, sir.
Bullet, okay. Anybody else? See, we have 10 items here. Ashtray on bed, rock jumping,
Yes, sir.
bullfight. Yeah, somebody said the bullet.
Takes child with medicines.
Okay, very good. Anybody else? Which is the most hazardous out of these 10?
Lighting, sir.
Lightning.
Jumping
That's
off the
very
cliff.
good. Okay.
Stay on bad.
That's quite risky, no doubt. Okay, good attempt. Many of you have done a little bit of thinking and try to apply. But now let me give you how to rate this. You see the rating chart on the right hand side in yellow? Ashton on bed is rated 5, rock jumping is rated 2, and somebody said lightning, that is rated number 1. So number 1, then banana peel is number 6, bungee jumping is number 3, and so on. You can see against each of the activity I have given the rating. Now how this rating is arrived? It is basically the risk is equal to consequence and exposure and priority. The product of these three. And the maximum rating you can achieve is 500. And risk when it is more than 20 or more, it has to be referred to the management for action. That means you have to report it to the higher management. So this is the way we do the risk rating. And what are these figures? What is consequence? If several people are dead, then it is consequence number 5. If one is dead, then it is 1. A sufficient chance of fatality is 0.3. A permanent disability is 0.1, and so on. I mean, the complete list is there. Of course, I'll give you a copy of this to the presentation itself. So this is what is called consequence. So a product of consequence, probability, and exposure. Now, what is exposure? If it is a continuous exposure, it is given a rating of 10. If it is frequent, that means daily, then you get 5. If it is seldom, say weekly once, 3. If it is unusual, 2.5. It is occasionally yearly once, we give number 2. So this is how the points are given, allotted, and you multiply it. So what you have to do in risk analysis, you identify in what category the risk is falling. And what is the duration, what is the exposure? Whether a person is exposed for full shift or half a shift or 1 day or 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. So that based on that, you can choose the points, which are the points that you take. And then what is the probability? If it is expected, almost certain, you give it 10 points. If it is quite possible, likely to happen, 7 points. If it's unusual but possible, 3. So like that, as per the chart, it goes on 7, 10, 7, 3, 2, 1, and goes on up to 0.1. So once you identify what is the risk, what the kind of risk, then you apply this a particular thing. Now you see here what I've done. Ashtray on bed, 0.1 into 5 into 3. That is the exposure and the probability and the cause. So all 3 multiplied, you get a product of 1.5. Now this is not very rigid. This is my perception. Somebody's perception may be slightly different. Somebody say it is 5, not 3. So it's a perception, but then it should not vary much. You can have a variation of, say, plus minus 1% maximum, that's all. Bullfight has got 30 because the cause and the exposure is 3 and the probability is 10, almost certain. Bullfight people do die very frequently. Likewise, rock jumping, as I told you, the method of doing it is the same. Only thing from the chart you pick up which point it will come here. Rock jumping, you get 0.75, 1.75. Bullet, somebody had said bullet. Bullet as such is just like a pen or pencil. It's not harmful at all. You agree with me, participants? Who had said bullet?
I told,
Let's
sir.
discuss. It doesn't matter. It's a perception. See what happens, bullet. When we say bullet, invariably what comes to our mind? The bullet fired. But bullet as such is not harmful. If it is just a piece of copper, just like a pen or pencil, it's in your hand. Unless and until bullet is in a gun, it is not harmful. So I have purposely put this to say many times many people say bullet is most dangerous. It is not. It's the least dangerous. Then a lady on the step ladder with high heels is quite a risky job that she was doing because chances of slipping and falling are quite high. Child with the medicine is very, very risky. The child doesn't know what she is playing with, and she can wrongly use the medicine. She may consume some of them. So that's a very risky thing, and in every house we should take care that this doesn't happen. Lightning, somebody said, and that is the best. That is the most hazardous thing out of all the 10. As we say here, the cause and the probability, etc., 5 times and twice and 7 times. That is the possibility. So you get a score of 70. Stepping on a tack, one gentleman going with the barefoot, that is risky, but then chances of fatality and all are less. Injury, it can cause serious injury. So based on that, if you do the complete analysis, it comes to 0.006. Likewise, the banana peel. Somebody eats a banana, throws the peel on the road. So there are quite good chances of anybody slipping and falling and getting injured. But then it's not very high. It in the list, it comes to a 0.35. That means get the 6th place. Bungee jumping is a very, very risky sport. And it gets there for quite a high points. That is 5.25 point. Bungee jumping, as you may be knowing, all of you, that you could see a bungee on the top of a river. From there, what they do is they tie a rope to their feet or to their waist, and then jump and wait on the recoil. As you jump down with your own force, you are pulled up back. So if you pull back, you come back up to that hut or that hutment, it is fine. But I remember a case that had happened in Australia. One lady had done bungee jumping and the rope broke. And she was in the midst, in a very, very dangerous situation, with a lot of crocodiles around, but she was quite daring and she swam back to the shore unhurt. But then it's a very, very risky sport. So, gentlemen, this is what I have just told you, that you take the points for all the three and multiply and then see. So, this how you rate the risk. Same exercise, same way you can do in your plant, in the mine, open cast mine, underground, anywhere. Principle remains the same. Only thing is risk rating may differ. Then there is this thing term called fault tree analysis. Now, anybody what is fault tree analysis? Any participant?
It's a systematic way of identifying the problem after eliminating one after another the possible causes.
Not exactly. This is a logical, structured process which can help you in identifying the potential causes of a system failure. So, like fire. If fire has taken place, what all is responsible for fire? One is wood or paper, then source of heat, like a lighted butt or a cigarette or something, and oxygen. So whenever these three things are available, it causes fire. Now, when a fire is caused in a particular place, you have to do the fault tree analysis. What does it give you? That what is the cause and what are the sources for it? Say it's in a store, lot of paper, so that becomes the source of the paper which can catch fire. Then where does the light or the ignition come from? They may be short circuiting. That can cause the ignition. Oxygen is of course present everywhere, so that automatically becomes available. So these are the things which can cause faulty analysis, and how it is one of the most widely used methods in system reliability analysis. You know, when you do a system reliability analysis, that means you're trying to find out how reliable your system is. this method is utilized very successfully most of the places. Faulty analysis, as I said, is a detective top-down method of analyzing system design and the performance. So from top down you start. How it is? Say like this. Fire takes place, there is a source of ignition, there is oxygen, and there is fuel. So on top you put fire, then down below you put the other items, say like fuel, like ignition source, like oxygen. Where does it come from? Now, I have taken the case of a warehouse, poultry for mine fire. In a warehouse, we see fuel, ignition source, oxygen. Oxygen, atmospheric, plenty available, natural. It's also available through fans and air conditioners. What is the source of ignition? Electricity, that is electric short circuiting, smoking, putting a naked flame or a lighted butt, and intentional fire. Intentional fire, of course, is not common because nobody will intentionally burn his own house or his own factory. Fuel, stationery or paper is a fuel, oil is a fuel, all lubricants are a fuel. The waste for cleaning, that is fuel. Any furniture available in the warehouse is a fuel. So these are the systems which cause fire to take place. And this particular method of identifying or analyzing what is the cause of the fire is called fault tree analysis. Then in the safety management system, one of the very important item is communication. How frequently and how correctly you are able to communicate with the people. I remember case of World War One, when a battle was going on and it was almost over. Then the soldiers were given a command by his officer, okay, gentlemen, you can go to Humes. He said, you can go to Humes. All of them thought they can go home. Anyway, the war is over. And all the soldiers went home. After a week or so, nobody reported at the next border. There was a lot of hue and cry. What happened to these people? Where have they gone? And they started searching and found that all the soldiers had gone home because that's the idea. The command given was, you can go to Humes. And the way in which he says Humes, somebody mistook it as Holmes, and majority of them went away, went home. Then they were called back. So communication is so important. We should be very clear in communication. That's why in army and all you find quick communication is very quick. Tension, standardize, march, left turn, right turn. You know, that kind of short communication are used so that they are easily understood. Let anybody in any language speak it out. He can't miss out. He can't say left turn for a right turn. You know, that can't happen. If he says right turn, they have to turn to the right only. So communication should be so crisp and so very clear when you speak about it. What is a safety management system in the mines? We have a lot of emergency response centers and emergency response teams. See, when you prepare the management system for safety in the mine, what's important is you do have some emergency response centers. That means the control rooms. In the control room, there are some minimum equipment which will be provided always, including the first aid. So that in case of an emergency, in case of a disaster, those things become readily available. And then you have emergency response teams. I know many of you must be in mine rescue and all that. So mine rescue or first aid. So those people together, when they make a team or form a team, that is known as emergency response team. And for each emergency response team, you have to have complete documentation readily available in the control room. What you should have in the with the response about the response center? Every response center should have a surface plan or layout. It should have a copy of the crisis management plan. It should have the wireless set or radio communication system. you would have possession of the fire hydrants. Now, when you make your safety management plan or firefighting plan, you have to show the fire hydrant position in every location. It should be marked on the plan itself, so that at a glance at the plan, people know or the firefighters know where the fire hydrants are available. At the time of fire, you can't start searching for fire hydrant plan or the fire hydrant spanners. They should be available at the nominated place or the that should be shown in the plan. So, and detail with the plan will have also details of machine and equipment, so that you know which machine is available where. There may be a fire in the machine itself, equipment itself, so that you don't have to do unnecessary searching, running around. Everything from the plan you can make it out. Then you should have the context of HODs and all the other key persons. Who are the key persons? The mines manager, rescue manager, the rescuer, the firefighter, the first aider. All their contacts should be available in the control room itself. The contacts of the local hospital and ambulance should also be available, so that suppose the disaster or accident of a few bigger names. Pardon? Yeah, somebody? Yeah, somebody had some questions, something? Okay, I'll suggest, gentlemen, that you have all the questions in the end once I finish. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of disturbance and disruptions in between. Okay. So, contacts of local hospitals and ambulance, you must essentially have in the control room, so that if there's a need, if the disaster is big and if the number of casualties is more, you can immediately contact the hospital ambulance, get the help. Then emergency response teams, what we should do, we should have people drawn from the multidisciplinary teams which comprise of engineers, supervisors, employees from each trade and from each department. Draw them from different departments so that they are all aware of the uh, systems, all aware of the company and its requirements, and they can be very well trained to firefight. So if they are drawn from different uh, areas like engineers, supervisors, employees from different trades and each department, then it will be a very, very compact and effective team. They shall be thoroughly trained as per a training curriculum on how to deal with any situation of emergency, not necessarily fire. It can be any situation. It can be fire, it can be rock burst, it can be collapse of a vehicle, it can be collapse in a plant. Anything can happen. Emergency is an emergency. It's not necessarily fire. The mock rehearsals shall form an essential part of the exercise, which will be continuous and regular. Why should we have the mock rehearsals? Anybody? Any participant?
So it is necessary because at the time of the actual emergency, the people involved in the emergency response team know exactly and have practiced what needs to be done. That's the need of the mock rehearsal.
Good, very good. This what exactly is the idea of mock rehearsals. We used to have, in fact, I was in charge of a rescue station in Kola Golfies. We used to have a mock rehearsal every month of every team. So every Saturday was earmarked for mock rehearsals, and all the trained rescuers were scheduled in such a way that during a month they all come and attend to the mock rehearsals. It was all with the rescue operators and all that. So, what is a safety management plan ultimately? Plan is a must. We should prepare it, test it, and improve it. How do you test the safety management plan? How is it tested? Anybody? Any participant? How do you test the safety management plan of your mine or industry?
By mock drilling.
You're right. Basically mock drill, but in the mock drill you should incorporate everything. What and what reason can be there and how it could have happened, or create a situation and then put it to test and see how people react to it. So we used to do that quite often, create a situation of emergency, and then call the people and ask them to go and attend to it. See, I had myself gone once. Of course, it was not created in the company, but from outside, we were called by the police department to fight not to fight a fire, but to help them out in an emergency of a building collapse. I'll show you that plan also I have. If time permits, I'll show you all the details of that. We went for a site disaster, all mining engineers and mining plant people, and we did a very good work for 15-20 days, and we were able to save 3 lives just by using our common sense, just by using our preparation that we had in the rescue stations. Cost of implementation of safety management plan, gentlemen, in mining or any of the industry, the most important factor is cost. And how do you calculate the cost of implementation of safety management plan? Anybody, any idea? Don't worry about being wrong or right. Just discuss. Can anybody throw some light on this? How can you compute the cost of implementation of safety management plan? Any participant? Put some ideas. It need not be 100% correct. No one? I can see a couple of guys from NMDC. They must be having fairly good idea. Satyabrat, are you there? Okay, doesn't matter. I'll tell you how we find the cost of implementation of a safety management plan. The first and the foremost thing is that we have a Johnny's window like this. That means how do you find the cost of implementation of the plan? First, you divide the whole window into 4 quadrants. Top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. You call top left as LRHC, that means low risk, high cost. On the right side, you have low risk, low cost. Then bottom left, you have high risk, high cost. And bottom right, you have high risk, high cost. Now, high risk, low cost. So what you do is, you first do your complete risk analysis, as I told you. Once you have done your risk analysis, you list it out and say which are the items falling in high risk areas, which are the items falling in low risk areas. Now, then you divide them into 4 windows like this, as I have shown you here. Low risk, high cost. Certain items may be low in risk but high in cost. Some items may be low in risk, low in cost. So you have to find out the numbers exactly and put them in 4 quadrants and then see overall picture how it comes. Oh, I should have, unfortunately, whether I have that. No, I had a chart also showing from a particular company, which I can't really share. But then in that, I had shown very clearly different areas and segregating them into low risk, high risk, low cost, and high cost. Anyway, that's easy to do once you know the methodology of doing it. That once you find out the risk analysis and do it, then you can convert comfortably, conveniently do it into 4 quadrants separately. You find out which are the items low risk, high risk, low cost, high cost, add them up. And from the total, you find out which are falling in which quadrant. Any company will definitely like to start always with the low risk, low cost. Then they will go to high risk, low cost. Then they go to high risk, high cost, and finally the low risk, high cost. So cost is a major item that depends on how we should go about, but we have to make sure that yes, for the whole company or the organization, we have a proper implementation plan and a proper cost of implementation, so that the company doesn't come under very high cost to start with. Now, I have a couple of case studies which I'd like to share with you. Now, all of them cannot be shared. The time is very, very short. One is St. Joe's Mine Rescue, Chile Rescue, then Mahabir College Rescue, then Brumadin Diamond Disaster. So the couple of them, one is a civil disaster, which I mentioned to you about Bangalore. So I'll come to those one by one. And before that, I'd like to thank you all for your patient listening. If you have any questions on this so far, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll go with the case studies.
Sir,
Yeah.
in risk rating,
Yeah.
for as far as consequence is concerned, consequence, exposure, and some other P factor is there, no, sir? So for bullet, what is the consequence figure it was given, sir? I think it was 10.
No, 1 minute. I'll just show you that. Risk analysis, management, risk rating, yeah.
For bullet, it was given 10, no? For consequence,
Yeah,
sir?
10. 10 was the risk number. That means out of those 10, that was the least risky. Number of 10, highest number because of the least risk.
Oh,
what was
10
the,
is least.
10 is least, yeah. The highest, I
So-
said the highest risk was lightning, with that given number 1.
Yes, yes. Okay, sir. So
Okay,
what
get it?
might be the risk rating for active bullet?
No, it was not for active bullet. It
What
was
can
just
be?
for a bullet. Purposely, I have
Okay,
shown
okay.
that bullet.
Okay,
So
now
that,
I understood, sir. Understood.
okay,
Bullet means it is simply static bullet. So if
it
it is
was,
active,
yeah.
it is more
It was
dangerous.
not active. It was not an active bullet.
If it is active,
this is-
it can be taken
yeah.
as active also. Bullet means
Then if you take it, see what happens. You can't show an active bullet in hand. Active bullet has to be shown with a gun, and the moment you show with the
okay, sir. It's all right. It's all right.
moment
So
you
that
show with a gun,
yes,
the
yes,
whole
it is a good
concept.
example, sir, so that people can understand in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
sir.
why I said. That's why I shown a bullet separately as a bullet. Not
You're
as
right,
an
sir.
bullet.
So what is
Okay.
Johari's window means? Why it is named as Johari's window, sir?
It was invented by one scientist called Johari. So after his name, it has become Johari's window.
Acha, okay.
Clear? Okay. Any other doubt? Any
Okay, sir.
clarification? See, this is what we had about the bullet. Consequence, exposure, and probability. All were very, very low. So it comes to 0.0000.
Yes, if it is static, it is the least.
Yeah.
Least, this risk rating is
Least
very, very lowest. If it is static.
least harmful. Yeah. Least harmful
Yes.
in this particular list. In this list, what I've shown of 10 risk, bullet was the least.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to see Johari's window also? This is very, very effective, I should say, activity, not activity, very effective analysis. I have done it personally for a couple of companies, and it works extremely well. Yeah. If you do the cause the risk analysis, then you could do the rating, and then you find out what is the cost, low risk, high cost, high risk, low cost, etc. It's a wonderful exercise, and I suggest all of you try to do it in a department of the company, whatever is feasible.
Yes.
Okay, so I go to case studies now. A couple of case studies. Let me see which one I take up first. Now I have Daredevil Rescue, That I'll take up in the end. That is about Silkyara rescue. But I'll first take up Daredevil rescue in Mahabir Colliery. I think you must have all heard about Mahabir Colliery rescue. Are you aware, gentlemen, of Mahabir Colliery? Or the rescue work done? Oh, sorry, it's okay. 1 minute. I think all case studies have come in this. Break. Okay. I'll take it as such. So one by one, all the case studies will come. I don't have to take separately. The first one I take is civil disaster management, in which I was personally involved. This happened in Gangaram building collapse in Bangalore. On 12th of September 83, at 3:15, there was a big collapse of a building under construction. It had trapped 140 people. Of that, 129 lost their lives. 11 people were rescued. Out of 11, 3 were rescued by our team from BGML, and the rest of them could not be saved. What happened actually on that night, on that evening rather, this is the Kapali Theatre. I don't know how many of you are aware of Bangalore. Have some of you visited Bangalore or this area? Kapali Theatre. Anybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is Kapali Theatre on Subedar Chatham Road, very close to the station. This, and you see on the left hand side where the collapsed building is there, with a couple of cranes and all that standing. So this building was under construction on a black cotton soil, and the reinforcement that the contractor was using was very inferior. I think he was given 16 reinforcement rods to be put in every beam, and he was using only 11. So that was the main reason for the whole building or the entire thing and all the beams to be less in strength. And this was on a black cotton soil, which is not a suitable soil for any building construction. I think I'll put on slideshow itself. Yeah. So this is what I was explaining, that this is the Kapali Theatre, and by the side of that, this building was under construction, which collapsed. Now here you see the basement of the building, collapsed building. There was a basement. In the basement, we had entered as we were called in the evening by 3:15. We reached Bangalore from Kolar Goldfields, driving more than 100 kilometers. And the first thing I did as a leader of the team, I tried to find out from Mr. Nizamuddin. He was the DIG Fire Force, and he was controlling all the operations. So I found out that how many people are there and how many have been saved. So this was the basement in the building where we entered, and we tried to probe if there are any live people. Unfortunately, we didn't find any. But then this was the condition of the basement. So what we did from the other side of this basement, where we again, you see here, big aperture. What happened? These are the beams, and they were down up to the bottommost level. That was after collapse, it was reduced to 16 feet only. We cut it with the hammer and chisel because nothing else could cut. We had tried to get some help from Bombay, from this thing, Atomic Energy. They also brought their cutters and all. Nothing helped. So what we use, very old technology, use hammer and chisel to cut the rock, and wherever reinforcement came, we cut it with the gas. So like that, in about 73 hours, we were able to reach the bottom, cutting through the entire thing, entire collapsed building. And then actually what happened, we were slightly misguided by the owner. Because his son was in the basement. And he said that he is alive. He has made a call on a telephone in a very feeble voice. It was all misguided by him, supported by the PNT department also. They all misguided us and forced us to go on to this area. We could have gone anywhere for rescue. We had gone with that intention. So we started opening this area on the south side of the building. And when we reached the bottom, we found that there was. Now, you see that this is what we did, that to protect the team from the collapse of any debris and all that, we were using the props. Put the props, put the railway reapers, cut them to size and put them on top. So like this, we made 2 feet by 2 feet window opening and used some cushions to crawl. Made an advancement in this because this was the direction which was given, which led to the particular book bureau, where the owner's son was supposed to be. So they had really misguided us. So we initially put all our efforts in reaching the book bureau, and I had the names of all the people who were supposed to be there. Went on shouting by their names, but then there was no response. But while advancing toward the book bureau, like that, we cut 2 feet by 2 feet, and then advance further. As we advanced, we had a lot of problems in between. Like there was a big 6-inch pipe through which continuous flow of debris was coming. So then we had to cut that pipe and then put a plank like this, arrest it. As we advanced a little further, there was one complete, this tray full of books. Now, how to cut that? Because it was a tray of the steel tray, and that was a steel rack rather. That was containing the books. Now, how to cut that? The moment you apply gas, the tray that will be cut, still will be cut. But what happened to books? Books could catch fire, and if the books catch fire, and if there is any survivors in that area, then we are killing. So we have to take a lot of a precaution to see that by any chance the books do not catch fire. And for that, what we did, lot of water we poured over the books, and we kept fumite extinguishers with us, and then we started cutting. When we started cutting, there was slight fire in between. We were able to fight it out, but then nothing of consequence was found. Only thing, our way was clear to crawl and go ahead. We reached the book bureau in the end of this particular tunnel that you're finding. It was a man-made tunnel through the debris, which was made by us. When we reached the end, and I could find that the complete book bureau had turned by 180 degrees. The top has gone to the floor has gone to the top. And these guys, they had misguided, were saying that somebody has made a telephonic call. I luckily got the telephone also in shambles, in pieces, and I brought it up to show it to all the people and to show it to the press that on this phone, how could anybody have made a call? The receiver was apart, cradle was not different, cables are cut, and they said that he had made a call. So anyway, that was misguided, and but we did a lot of efforts. Then after reaching that, then we withdrew, came back from there, and I said that there's no survivor in this book bureau. Then we attempted from the other side. As I shown you in the first slide, on that side we attempted, and we could find what happened that after doing this job, we are completely tired, and we had taken one room in a lodge called Ramakrishna Lodge, that is near Kapali only. In that we had taken rest. My deputy was sleeping with me in the same room. There were 2 more persons with me. For others, we had taken another room. Total 16 members had gone there. At midnight, 2 o'clock, somebody came. I had left the door open. I told them if there is any emergency, please call us. That gentleman came and he was telling, sir, there is a lady by name Meenakshi. She is moaning, crying with pain. Please save. Okay, we rushed. We just jumped out of the bed, rushed to the particular site, and we could find, I'll show you that in the next slide, that This was the telephone. Okay. This was the phone I was talking about. It was in shambles, it was in pieces. And they bluffed that they made call on that. This was the pipe through which a lot of debris was coming, which we had cut. Now, this was the scene where that lady worker was found. She was between the fourth and the fifth floor. This total height of the building was 102, and I said you that it has come down to 16 feet. Now, that particular lady, the worker, was lying here. Inside, they were between fourth and fifth floor, and she was crying with pain. When we reached in the middle of the night, we found that she was breathing all right, but no injuries. And how she was protected was with two dead bodies. One dead body below her leg, another dead body on top of her leg. So those dead bodies, they gave their life, but they saved her. So, but still her leg was caught under a beam, and she was moaning with pain. So I contacted the doctor who had come there to the site. The minister had come to the site, labor minister, and because they're all very much concerned about the number of persons rescued and how many survivors are there. So they all came there, and I asked the minister to give me uh, the jack from his vehicle, which he provided. Because what we did, that we thought that the dead bodies are there, beam is there in between. If we slightly lift the beam, then we can release her leg, and that's what happened. When we put that jack under the beam and lifted it, her leg was released. Knee came out, but her ankle was still caught. And there were some army guys also along with us at that time. They said they were interested in cutting the leg and bringing her out. I said, damn it, you're just a 45 years old worker, construction worker. You cut her leg, then she lose for the rest of the life. She'll not forget you. So when the knee came out, then they said, okay, sir. Now it's only ankle which is caught. We can cut the ankle. I abused them profusely. I said, what the hell, you guys? You want to cut some limbs or the other? We worked whole night, and same hammer and chisel, we kept on enlarging the particular hole around her ankle. And you believe me, she was brought out without a scratch on her body. Without a scratch. No bruises, nothing. Only thing, we stayed there, brought her out and handed her over to the doctor to put her in an ambulance, sent her to hospital. So this was the story, what exactly had happened. Then there were two big 20-ton tanks on top of the building. You see here, the tanks. I'm standing here. There's another electrical engineer with me, both part of the rescue team. And this damaged one is Kapali Theatre, what you find here in the right side. Of course, in Kapali Theatre also, there was one fatality. One of the persons watching the movie, he got trapped and got killed. So we had every day a meeting with the chief minister, where we used to discuss what work has been done and what is planned for the day. So one planning for the day, we had the important job at hand. These two 20-ton tanks, concrete tanks. They're huge, big, and they're resting on the top of the building, and it was continuously raining. I thought there's be a big risk of these tanks resettling and sinking ground, and they can crush the people underneath, those who are working. So I decided that we should remove these tanks. Now in the morning meeting, we had that brigadier. One brigadier also was there, who was actually made overall in charge. So he made a very funny suggestion to the chief minister, saying that, sir, these tanks we can lift with a helicopter. I can get to a helicopter from Kabul, lift them up. So I laughed out actually. So then I was asked, why? What's the problem? Why are you laughing at it? I said, if you want to get helicopter, we have got plenty in India. But even getting a helicopter, either from Kabul or from England or from some other place, how will it help? Lifting these two tanks underslung to the helicopter, when you are lifting on this area, there are high-rise buildings on both sides. I said, that tank, if it hits any of the buildings, you have another collapse. One. Number two, even if you are able to lift it out, this 100 odd feet, it goes up because there are a number of buildings all around, high-rise building. You take it on top, and then you're flying over the city limits to take it to a dump yard. What happens? part of it, if it collapses, you have another accident, another disaster. So, but I said that brigadier must have thought of all it. I just want to know what the plan. No, young man, you tell me what will you do? I said I'll not lift them with a helicopter. I'll break them in pieces. Oh, how will it take a long time? I said just one shift and I'll finish it. So next morning, I asked for some one compressor, one manifold, and a hammer, 14-pound hammer, and a drilling machine. So just got a drilling machine, and I marked with the chalk the pieces, and just advise those people who are drilling, at least if you hit rod anywhere, we draw it. So they drilled. It took about half a shift to drill the holes in the complete tank all around. And then we took a 14-pound hammer and then we broke the whole thing into pieces. By evening, when I met the chief minister, I said, sir, job is over. Oh, so fast? You said you will take one full shift. I said, my boys are very smart. They finished within the shift in the morning hour itself. So this is how we tackle the tax. Sometimes some problem appears very big and we plan a lot of things, bring a helicopter, bring this, bring a crane, all nonsense. You just do what's available, improvise, and the rescue is done best that way. That's how I've learned from this. So that's one is over. Gentlemen, now I go to the Mahabir Colliery. Yeah. This rescue was a very great rescue, which I learned. This had happened. What happened there actually, 65 miners were trapped underground in the mine. It's a coal mine. And this happened on 13th of September 89. 65 people were trapped. 6 were dead, okay. 6 were dead because mine got flooded suddenly because of inrush of water from one side. And 65 people took refuge to a high-rise site in a gallery. 6 people got caught in the water and they lost their lives. This had happened in Ranigan coalfield of Eastern Coalfields area. Now what happened? There were some old shafts where they were doing the drilling and parting between two seams, that was Narayankuri seam and Nigahi seam, was only 22 meters. In that portion, in the midnight where they were working, they did not had proper surveying done or proper survey map. From Nigai seam to Narayankuri, they just punctured unknowingly. And as they punctured, the Narayankuri seam, it had old shafts which are all waterlogged. The entire water gushed towards the Narayankuri seam. And when the water gushed, people did not know what to do. Some of them ran toward the safety for high rise, for the rise side, as these 65 people had gone. Some people rushed to the flat. Those who could save their life, they came out. 6 people could not save themselves, they died. Now, this is what I have shown you already, Narayankuri, A and B shafts. Total depth was 86 meters. Rise most area was the development going on in Nigai. So that's where they had taken shelter. Now, what happened? On 13th September at 4 o'clock in the early morning, heading in Narayankuri seam punctured into an abandoned old shaft, which is not shown on the plan of Narayankuri seam. So that was a mistake of surveyors. Though which was waterlogged, Nigai seam started rushing into the Narayankuri seam. The water completely came down. The 232 persons were working below ground in the night shift. 161 came out, 71 could not come out. And that's what figure I given you. The out of 71, 65 were rescued. 6 persons lost their lives in the water tomb. So 13th September 89, the drilling of a communication borehole of 255 mm, 10-inch diameter was started at 9:30 p.m. People started rushing what to do, how to save the life. One gentleman by name Mr. J.S. Gill, who became the hero of the whole thing, he saved all the 65 people, although there was a lot of political pressure against him, a lot of opposition from the locals against him, but he didn't care. He was a Sardar and well-determined person, very good mining engineer. He went ahead with his plan. He made a capsule, and through that capsule, he hoisted all the people out. Then he had drilled a borehole, which was lined to about 6 inches high with a casing. Then at 27.8 meters below, they intercepted the gallery. Then with the lighted torch lowered, miners contacted on phone. So this link established with the miners was at 4 a.m., exactly 124 hours after the accident. Torches, food, drinking water, medicine, etc. They were all lowered through this particular borehole, what they had started drilling initially. Drilling of rescue borehole, 200 millimeter diameter, started at 9:30 a.m. close to the first borehole. There was another borehole which they started drilling, but they wanted to make sure that there are two shafts available for handling the people. This punctured into the gallery at 11:30 a.m. after 2 hours. Hole was enlarged to 21.5 inches in 4 stages: 12, 15, 18, 21.5. In the 4 stages, first they drilled the hole, then enlarged it, then further enlarged, then enlarged, and finally they brought it to 21.5 inches. And the whole of 21.5 was completed by 1:30 p.m. The top 11 meter was further enlarged to 28.5 inches and lined with the 24-inch ventilation duct. I don't know how many of you have seen the steel-made or zinc-made ducts for ventilation. Though with those ducts they lowered and they completely lined the particular shaft so that they could start evacuation of the people easily. The parallel to a steel capsule of 17-inch inner diameter was made, which was 42.5 millimeter diameter, 2.5 meter high. It was being fabricated by Mr. Gill. That was his plan. He said, with a borehole, I'll bring out all the people through this capsule. Rescue of men started at 10:30. Next day, when the capsule was ready, he brought a crane to hoist it up. And then 2:30, he started. He was the first to go down. Anywhere rescue you might have heard about, a rescue captain is the first to go, last to come. I myself followed that practice for almost 20 years. Whenever there was a rescue and we had to go, first to go, last to come. So initially the cycle was slow, taking 15 minutes per person. Then a 12-ton crane he had brought into service, and the cycle time was improved from 15 to 3 minutes per person. That means every 3 minutes, one person was. All 65 persons were rescued by 9 a.m. on 16/11. That was a work that our great Mr. Gill had done. And next day, that day, 16th was declared as Rescue Day all over India. We may celebrate that, observe it as a rescue day. The tension charge rescue operation lasted 6 hours to bring 65 miners one by one out of the mine. This was the rescue in Mahabir Colliery. Sri Jaswant Singh Gill, Additional General Manager Mining, was honored with India's highest civil gallantry award. This is called the Sarvottam Jeevan Raksha Padak that was given to him. Unfortunately, this gentleman, last year he died. As I said, that November 16th is observed by Coal India as the Rescue Day because of this. And this all it was about Mahabir Colliery, gentlemen. I think a break, not really taking a break, but I'll now go straight to Daredevil Rescue Adventure, St. Joe's. Now, this is the case study about a Chilean mine rescue, similar type, what was done in Mahabir Colliery, they done in the Chilean mine also. It's called St. Joe's mine. Date when it happened was 5th August 2010, and 13/10/2010 they were able to bring the people out. Name of the mine was St. Joe's Gold and Copper Mine, Capiapo in Chile. Age of the mine, 121 years old mine. Location was Atacama Desert, northern Chile. Person's dead was 33. 33 miners were trapped there, and they are confined for 69 days underground. Depth was about 700 meters where they were confined actually. the cost of rescue came to about $20 billion. How the events unfolded. 5th August, first rockfall occurred. That was 2010. 7th August, second rockfall occurred. On the 19th August, the voice contact was made with the trapped miners. These two falls had occurred. With all that, they went on drilling the hole, single shaft, and they were able to make contact with the workers. So 23rd August, 25th August, 28th August, 33 miners appeared. 9th October, drilling was completed. 12th October, rescue operation began. So here again, they made a steel capsule, just like what I had shown you in Mahabir Colliery. Yeah. Drilling plan was initially to go for 702 meters at 90 degrees. Plan B was 638 meters at 82 degrees. Plan C was 597 meters at 85 degrees. Why they had three different plans? Because of the location where the people are trapped. To reach it from the surface, one plan was make a 90 degrees a shaft, 702 meters, or make a shaft at 82 degrees, 638 meters, or 85 degrees, 597 meters. So these three locations were initially thought of, and finally they worked at plan C. See, this is St. Joe's Mines, and this is the ramp. I don't know if any one of you have seen this underground mines with ramp. Anyone has seen? Participant? So this is how the ramp mine goes. You see, it's a continuous spiral way which is developed to reach the bottom of the mine, and these are the shafts sidewise. Now, what happened? This was the first rock burst that happened, and people were trapped. Then some people tried to approach them, but they could not go because there was a second rock burst subsequently. So with these two rock bursts, all the workers were inside, 33 of them. But generally in underground mine, what happened? People are generally trained in rescue, firefighting, escape. They are told, they know in case of any emergency how to come out of the mine. So they knew that there was a refuge chamber in the bottom. So they all went to the refuge chamber, took shelter there. So what happened in the refuge chamber? You'll have a connection or compressed air. You open that, you have oxygen supply. They were all sitting on a bench. I'll show you that also. So they were comfortable, but comfortable in the sense that how to get the food and all that. That luckily, first hole which was drilled from the top, they were able to reach those people and supply them food, water, and all that, and also medicines. Yeah, this is and they were drilling holes from the top to reach the bottom of the mine. Yeah, this was a big news, to be celebrated all over Chile. That when the rescuers or the drillers reach the bottom and they drill hole through which the torches were lowered, medicines, food, and water were lowered, those fellows, one of the miners, caught hold of one paper and wrote on that. This is all written in Brazilian language. It shows that. Uh, note sent by the miners in English that we are all well in the shelter 33. So lost 33 was the message, was the main caption, which says that all 33 were saved in a shelter. So everybody knew the shelter means what. It was this. I'll skip that. It'll take time otherwise. Yeah, you see this all the photos of some of the miners sent from below. So they just took the photos and by video, they sent it up to the cable that they have to lower to them. This is the pipe used to enter copy of mine to deliver supplies to the trapped miner, food, water, etc. To this pipe, they were sending it down. This was the capsule, gentlemen. Its name was Phoenix. and the dimension of the capsule was 3.95 meters high and 51 centimeters wide, and a door to open it. Then it had the biometric belt, special dark sunglasses were given to them, safety harness with the hooks was given, oxygen mask was supplied to the miner, biometric belt was given, water resistant sweat permeable overalls were given, copper fiber undergarments, then to minimize the fungus, the helmets adapted for communication, traps to prevent the thrombosis, then connection to the winching system. These were the connections which are given to the winch system, through which they could do all this monitoring, self-monitoring, and that was all in the rescue capsule. This capsule was known as Phoenix, and it could only take one person at a time to be hoisted up. Time for each cycle was 1 hour. Total time for rescue was 33 hours. This was the 1 hour because of depth. Here the depth was total 700 meters, and whereas in Mahavir College it was only 86. So this was almost 6-7 times more depth. It took more time. Euphoria, rescue related and friends broke into cheers and tears. This was the title that I given to this particular slide: cheers and tears. The people are overjoyed. No, I'll not read again all this. It's already there. It will be in the presentation with you, and it's already explained. 9th October, date wise, I have given the complete breakup, how the rescue unfolded. This is the Brazilian president who personally went there to get the miners, received them. All their families were waiting on top, and this was known as Mission Chile, or Compalida Chile. Daredevil rescue and adventure. So this what? Oh, this I already covered. Daredevil rescue. This is important, gentlemen. Very, very important rescue, and I think all of you should properly listen to this and try to understand what exactly it was. This was the Daredevil rescue and adventure at Silkyara Horror. You have heard about Silkyara? Anybody? Gentlemen? No response. Have you heard about Silkyara?
No, sir.
No, okay. This in Uttarakhand, and during the landslides and all that, one tunnel which they were making for a roadway construction, that collapsed. It collapsed and trapped 41 workers inside.
Sir, the
And
ratful miners, sir.
yeah, you are right. You are right. I'll show you that also. Ultimately, the ratful miners brought them out. So this was the tunnel that was under construction, and it collapsed. And when it collapsed, it had trapped 41 civil workers. They were all dealers, blasters, muckers, and all the just like mining workers. They were all trapped, and there was no escape. But what happened just after the trap? The 41 of them, they were very good in yoga and other exercise, and their leader who was there, he was teaching them and making them to do yoga every morning. 1 hour yoga they used to do, and they kept fit for a number of days. And what happened, what they did immediately when the collapse happened and people from outside they tried to reach, they could not reach them. So these people, the leader, he started a pump. There was a pump inside. The moment he started the pump, water started going out. That gave them an indication that people are safe. And then they started putting their efforts to rescue them. Unfortunately, efforts were not good. And I'll touch upon that also. Let us just, okay. I think I just show you that one piece because of emergency. I have my own interest. I keep taking things. This was happened in 1968. Two persons by name J. Thompson and Randall Champion, they were on an electrical pole, and this gentleman, due to some short circuiting or some current flowing through, he got a heart attack. And the other gentleman, who was a good rescuer, immediately understood that he had a heart attack. You see the position in which he is holding him. He gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and revived him. Saved the life, brought him down. So this is known as the kiss of the life. So that mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, when you do, this happened in 1968 in Florida, in USA. So I thought I'll just show this. Okay, coming back to our Silkyara. Silkyara mine, I say it was a sheer providence, just a matter of luck that all the 41 miners who were trapped inside, they were saved. It was sheer luck. Otherwise, there was one gentleman, I show you that, who was in charge of the operation. He had literally killed them. And he was praised like anything by everybody, by the entire press and all that. Oh, wonderful job you have done. Because he was a white-skinned man, an Australian. He did not know how to save the people. He had absolutely no idea of rescue. And he was praised very, very high in his own country as well as in our country also. People here, they go mad after the white skin, and that's what has happened. This fellow had actually literally killed all the 41 people. It was only the rat hole miners who saved their lives. He had actually, this gentleman's name was Dix, the Australian engineer. He was doing tunneling. Tunneling, yes, he might be doing very well. But while doing tunneling, if something has gone wrong and it's all a reinforced tunnel, this fellow, out of his stupidity, I'll call it, he had put a auger machine in a tunnel. Can it ever work? The auger machine came in against the hard, reinforcement, broke into pieces. When one machine broke, he brought another machine. That also broke. He airlifted one more machine from America. That also broke. That he raised his hand. I think auger machine will not work. Arey, what the hell? You fellow, you are a rescuer, a tunnel expert, you are called, and you say that I think it won't work. It was a height of foolishness on his part to have used an auger machine to drill through a tunnel which is completely reinforced. That was the biggest blunder that he had done. And then he got away with getting some award and all that. The Australian president praised him very high. Oh, you have done a wonderful job. Work. I am asking even today, what is the wonderful work that he had done? He had literally killed 41 miners. Because when he came out, he said, "Oh, I'll get them by Christmas." Christmas was just 1 month away. In 1 month, we would have got probably 41 skeletons, not 41 people. That's what that expert had done, and for which he was regarded very much. And people who really did the work, here, this is the photo. This was that Australian engineer or so-called expert who did nothing about how to rescue the people. We had well-proven methods of two areas. One was in Mahabir Colliery, another one St. Joe's mine in Chile. He did not know about that, and he started drilling through the auger drill, through reinforced concrete, and he messed up. 3 machines, he completely broke down, then raised his hands. He said, "I'll bring them out by Christmas." He only knew what he'll do. He never explained to anybody what he'll do by Christmas. After 1 month, how will he bring them out? Nobody knew. To date, nobody knew what he had in mind. But then somehow he managed to get some award and all that from Australian Premier, and also some good words from our own people in Silkyara area in that Uttarakhand. But then he had done a very bad work. And that's where I put this. The drum gets the beating, the drummer gets the reward. The drum gets the beating means the rat hole miners who did the work and got the people out, they got the beating. And this drummer, he got the reward. So that's unfortunate, but then it has happened. Still Kerala horror, Mission Impossible compiled. Okay. This is that area where that particular tunnel was being done and that it had collapsed. Minute to minute account of 399 hours of trauma. Imagine those 41 workers had stayed for 400 hours, roughly. 399 is almost 400 hours in a collapsed tunnel in Silkyara in Uttarkashi. Now, these are the rat miners or rat hole miners who did the actual work of pulling the people out one by one on a wheeled cart, on a wheel stretcher, and saved all the 41 lives. And they were paid only 50,000 rupees each as a token of gift. They had demanded that they are all poor people. They don't have pakka house. They don't have anything. Nothing was considered by our great I don't know what I should. The politicians, they didn't consider any of their demands and just gave them 50,000 rupees each and sent them away. 41 workers trapped. Okay. The other name of the workers, and not much of interest. So, date of collapse in Sigla Tunnel was 12th November 2023. Time of collapse 5:30 p.m. Confinement 17 days they were inside. Area of entrapment 8.5 meters high by 2 kilometers long. Fortunately, area was there where they could do the morning exercise, yoga, and all that, and they kept them alive. So it was a good leadership on the part of one of the people, whom he had actually, who was provided in time, and he had guided his team very well. Now, this is a day-to-day account. I don't think I'll have time to go through that. It's already 6 o'clock. So I'll just, I'll give you this presentation. You can read. It's okay. You want me to go through, gentlemen? Hello, participants. No response.
Please go through.
Okay, sir.
Okay, day one, what happened? That was 12th of November 23. At 5:30 p.m., a portion of Silkyara tunnel under construction collapsed from Silkyara to Barkot area due to the debris falling on a 60-meter stretch on the Silkyara side, trapping 41 workers. So this is what is the photograph of that area taken showing the Silkyara tunnel and how it collapsed, the day of happening, and 41 workers, we say here, they were trapped inside. And they were only helped out by rat hole miners ultimately. See, day one, collapse tunnel, 41 persons were seen, most among them one Mr. Gabbar Singh Negi. I was telling you, one of them was a good leader and he had guided them with the rescue of the yoga and all that every day. And that's how he had saved their lives. The discharge water, this I already told you, that he had started a pump to discharge the water, which gave them idea to the rescuers outside that people are still alive and they are safe inside. This is Silkyara rescue second day. This is the Chief Minister, Mr. Bhami, who had visited the site, and he was there right through. And after the rescue of the people, he had made very good arrangements of ambulance and other things, and looking after each and every individual worker who was trapped personally. So that was a very good job done by the Chief Minister, except that he did not give them proper compensation. This is third day of rescue. Different machines, as I said, that the wrong job done by them was putting an auger drill into a reinforced concrete. It can never work. And he broke 3 machines and then he raised his hand and walked off. That is the white skin expert. Machine was assembled and put back in operation by midnight. It broke down again. So those machines never really worked. Drilling through the debris, it was okay, 24, 25 meters. But the moment it came to the reinforced concrete, the machines started breaking. 3 machines he broke. That was his best record. Now, what should have been done here? In fact, I had contacted these people also in Silkyara because I knew what was happening, and I got many calls from many of my friends. Arey, you are a rescuer. What the hell is happening? Are you watching? I said, I am watching, and I am also contacting them. I advised them that what you are doing is wrong. I sent a written message through email, but then nobody responded. Who will respond? Somebody at lower level, some clerks and all that. They will receive the message and they'll file it out. So nobody took any action. I had advised long back, initially itself, that the method you have adopted is wrong. You should go for drilling, you should go for shaft. Drill a shaft nearby, wherever you find it is safe, and then bring them out one by one. And that's what ultimately was done. They started drilling when this gentleman, the so-called expert, had raised his hand saying, I'll bring them out by Christmas and all that. That time they started drilling, but then it was too late. By the time they found the red miners, and they brought out the people one by one safely. This all day-to-day account what happened. Then one camera was provided through a fiber by which you could see the picture of the trapped mine and talk to them also. This is the detail came in the news about this. This drilling was started much later, when it was too late. This is what should have been the first attempt to be done. Rather than putting that auger drill and all that in the collapsed tunnel, they should have started with this drilling. Drilling continued on the pipe. It covered 44 meters and is still 12 meters to go. The drilling expert from Australia, Arnold Dix was his name, admitted that the auger machine had completely broken down beyond repairs. And 3 machines had broken down, not 1 or 2. And the authorities were considering other options to evacuate the 41 persons. And this gentleman said, by Christmas, I'll bring them out. That means leave them to their fate for another month. That's what he had planned. Now, this shows various stages of approaching the tunnel. And I'll not go through that in detail now. It's already 6:15. So you will have this complete presentation of mine in that you can go through. And now if you have anybody has any doubt, any question to be asked, you can do it. Here, these are the red miners. 12 of them saved 41 people. Just it doesn't save 41 lives. Relief is spread across India. The entire country was jubilant when they heard the news that yes, these fellows had done a wonderful job. But what did they get for the job? Just 50,000 rupees each. That was too insufficient. In fact, there is a song serial called Indian Idol. Indian Idol had invited all 12 of them to their show, and at that they were honored with 1 lakh rupees each. That was done by Indian Idol, which the government did not do. They paid only 50,000 and sent them back home. So that was bad anyway. But this what happened. These are the rat hole miners, all of them in one frame. And this is what is the rat hole mine. This is very common in Meghalaya, some coal mines where they do the rat hole mining, and they take a small trolley inside the mine, dig up some coal, bring it out. It's very risky for them, but then they do it for sake of money. This is what it explains what the rat hole miner is and how does it really work. This is Silkara Rescue, day 17 out of the darkness into the light. People who are there in dark, they saw the light of the day shown by these rat hole miners. This is the operation by which, for pulling them out through a rope on a stretcher. This is a rat hole mine. You can see very clearly the various rat holes over here. Green corridor, excellent rescue care by NDRF and the government. NDRF had done a very good job of providing the shelter and the vehicles and all that, taking care after the rescue part. NDRF is known for their good work. They always come very handy in any disaster anywhere. NDRF, SDRF, they do a very good job. This is Mr. Dhami receiving all the miners when they came out one by one. Major breakthrough. Well, gentlemen, this is all that I had about the Daredevil Rescue, Mabit Colliery, and the civil disaster. Would you like to go through that another presentation I have about emergency, personal emergency? 5 minutes to go. Shall you quickly
Yes,
go through
please.
that?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Sure.
please.
Okay. Yeah, here it is. Family emergency is called 5 minutes to go. This is a very, very good exercise, very good presentation that I have developed. I have developed personally. 5 minutes to go. A presentation on a family preparedness to deal with an emergency. How do you do that? And this, I think, everyone should follow and do it. Now, if a disaster strikes, like earthquake, fire, terrorist strike, air crash, medical emergency, and you have only 5 minutes to go, what will you do? If you have only 5 minutes to evacuate, suppose an earthquake is taking place, suppose there is a terrorist strike, and you are asked to evacuate your house and go, then in those 5 minutes, you are given only 5 minutes time, not the 6th minute available. What will you do? Anybody? What will you take with you in those 5 minutes? What can you collect? Come on, participants.
Collect your own self, sir, and go out.
Only one single person, right?
Yeah, collect yourself.
Collect yourself means you are already there.
Yeah, I mean, go all by yourself without bothering about other.
Okay.
Collecting anything.
Anybody else? Okay, good. Anybody else? Any other participant? Come on, speak out. Don't worry about being right or wrong. I'll give you the right ultimately. So don't worry about it. Just speak whatever comes to your mind, please. Come on, participants. I definitely want some input from you. What will you do if you are having only 5 minutes to evacuate your house and go out? What will you collect? What will you take with you?
Sir, we'll try to take whosoever can be taken out. In such a condition, whosoever can be taken out.
Whosoever means?
Who can be, who is in a position to get out along with, because one who is trapped or things like that, you cannot take him out, or you cannot.
No, it's not trapped. This is an earthquake has happened, or a terrorist strike has happened. and the authorities have come to save the people, and they are asking you to rush out of your house within 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, what will you do? That's the question. What will be your action in those 5 minutes? That's very important. Anybody else?
Food, water,
Pardon?
water or food, ready to eat food.
No, I'm not able to get you. What? No, I'm not able to hear you. Please, a bit louder. Can you tell?
Food items, ready to eat food items, water,
Very good, very good. Yeah, food item. Then
torch, and then
torch. Okay. Yeah, good. Any other item? Remember, you have only 5 minutes, right?
Sir, emergency torch, then some food, some water.
Yeah,
If somebody is taking medicine, then some medicines, then just
good. You
Great.
could cover some of the very important items. See what happens when disaster strikes and you get an emergency call from the rescuers or from the authorities asking you to evacuate a house within 5 minutes, because more than 5 minutes could be dangerous to your life. So they have given you just 5 minutes and asking you to evacuate the house. Yeah, some of the items you have told are really good. That you should take water, you should take food items, you take some clothes, take a torch, because when you go out, you don't know where you're going to land, whether there will be light or no light. So it's better to have a torch always. So, but then I'll just give you a complete list of all the items that you should take. Understand one thing, that when you have only 5 minutes, you will not know what to do. Your mind will stop working and you will be in a terribly tense situation, what to do, to get out, how to go, what to do. And let me tell you one thing which you have forgotten. You may be having your old parents at home, right? You may be having your children in the school. How do you have to take them all out? So all parents can accompany you. If children are there at home, they can accompany you. But if children are in the school, you have to ring up to that and get them. And you should always prepare one bag. Maybe that after this you can straight away, all of you can do that strike at home. Strike, no, exercise, not a strike. You can do that exercise at home to find out, to list out the things that you require in an emergency. I have made one bag and have call it rush. Rush. The moment anything if happens, I rush, take that bag and rush. Other than that, I don't have to look at anything. That one bag contains everything. That one bag has the medicines. That one bag has the emergency clothes. That one bag has all your documents. You see, you will have your property documents. You will have your vehicle documents. You will have your passport. You will have your medical card. Everything you should have, or a copy of it, you should have in that one bag. That I'll expect you, gentlemen, to prepare in another week's time. Every one of you should have that bag, call it rush, or yeah, I just call it rush, and I have the kind of bag always available at home. And now I tell you what should be the items in that bag. That's important. You have only 5 minutes to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minutes to evacuate. What will you do? Get prepared. Make sure that if ever you have only 5 minutes, you can grab what you need to and rush out. Those 5 minutes are most stressful, difficult, and important. And you won't really have time to think what to do, what to collect, where to go, what. You will simply rush. And while rushing, take a bag. Name that bag as a rush and take it out and go. And that bag, one bag should contain what it should contain, I'll tell you now. This is called emergency preparedness. To know what to do, know what to take, to know where everything is available, to know what you have done, everything possible, not just to survive, but to thrive. Oh, where everything is available, even if you know, oh, some medicine in this room, some medicine in that room, something clothes here, some clothes there, you won't have time to go and collect. So you should prepare one bag especially for the purpose of emergency. If at all, any time this kind of emergency comes, you should pick that bag and go. What all you need? You need cash. You need your credit cards. You need your identity cards of all the family members. You need your vital documents, clothes, food, water, medicine, and most important is your family members. Don't forget them. Because none of you mentioned, so that's why I'm reminding now. Where's your spouse? Where are the children? Maybe children have gone to a park to play. You have to pick them. You don't know what time it is. When you get such a call, you have aged parents at home, handicapped people. You have to take care of all of them. With 5 minutes at your disposal, you have no time to prepare and are bound to miss a couple of items. This is what I tell everybody. You will not have any time to think, because where's the time? You will be under tension. What will happen? What's going to happen? Something going to collapse now? Some terrorist firing from outside? What's happened? The situation can be very, very difficult. So how would you take care of your vital documents? The biggest impediment to safeguarding all the documents is procrastination. So take 15 or 20 minutes today. That can save you days and months or years of pain. So today you sit down and plan out what should you take. Procrastination means postponing things. Don't do that. Don't do any procrastination. Do it today. Do it today and list out things, what you need. What are the vital documents? Here is a complete list of all the documents. I'll not read them, but I'll give you this presentation. You can just go through. Your password, PIN, toll-free numbers, investment information, PIN, password, credit card, copies of credit card, account number, toll-free number. You need all this, because when you are leaving a house and going out, you don't know in what situation or where do you land. Your driving license, passport, voter ID, PAN card, medical records, income tax returns, insurance policies, stocks of bonds, power of attorney, medical, etc. All this you need, and see, it's a huge big list. Birth certificate, post office account, bank account, NSCs, etc. Wheelchair documents if you have any, then vehicle documents, warranties, wills, family, immunization records, security card, property lines, contact information for all your contacts. And what you should do, I'll suggest is that most of the things you have the scanned copies in one CD, and take one CD at home with you, one CD with one of your relatives in some other city where you can probably go and take shelter, so that in any case, anywhere, you don't miss out any of the information. But there are most of the records you have in one CD, and put a CD with you, put one CD outside, any of your friends or relations in the other city, so that both are available all the time. How do you secure vital documents? Scan documents on a CD, that's what I've told you, or pen drive. Create an extra copy of data. Grab the kids, old age parents, pets, CD, pen drive during emergency and rush out. Videotape and okay, this is something important. In case you have your built house, then you take a video tour. Keep that also in the record. Insurance claims, all those items should be there. Store your documents in places accessible to you, even if you are unable to get inside your house. So that's what I say. They make 2 copies of CD. Keep one with you. Keep one with other friends or relations in some other place. First line of defense. Make 3 copies of all information. I was telling 2. You make 3 copies. Says the information and put them in 3 secure locations. One of the locations is your own house. Other 2 in 2 other cities somewhere with your friends or relations somewhere. Additional precautions. This is to keep your house safe. Where do you keep the heavy items? Heavy items like pictures, mirrors, etc. Generally, you should keep them away from windows. Keep them in secure places. Don't hang them on the walls. Keep them on the floor and close so that they don't fall in case of any shake. If there is a mild earthquake, they can shake and fall. So don't allow them to fall in your head. Keep them safe inside the closets and all that on the floor. Identify the best and the worst places in your house. Best places under the major beams, strong doorways, inner structural walls. Worst places in front of windows, near fireplace, near chimneys. So these are the places which can be very safe for you to take shelter or to stand. The best place, as I said, under major beam, anywhere you have the beams, under that you are safe. It won't fall on head. Inner structural walls, then the worst places are in front of windows. Windows are very weak areas, near fireplaces and chimneys. They are all again very risky areas, so that you should avoid. Survival during a natural disaster requires preparedness. So get prepared. Good luck, gentlemen. Thank you for listening, and I'll give you a paper of a presentation on this. If you have any questions right now, you can ask me. I'll answer you. Any participants, any questions on this? 5 minutes to go, emergency.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Really, really very informative.
Now, I have made this especially for the participants, and a couple of places, wherever I have done this program, I have shared it with the people so that it can be very helpful. And I do expect that all of you do the exercise and prepare one bag called Rush or Emergency. Give it any name you like. I generally call it Rush. It's much easier to understand that Rush with the bag. Anybody in the family also can understand Rush bag. So anyway, you can call it emergency bag or anything, but please do that preparation.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Maybe another week's time. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you must do it and keep these things ready. Yeah. So this I thought will be very, very important for all of you. I have done that. It's already 6:30. I think that time is not there for any further. Otherwise, I have a couple of more rescue things, but then I'll provide you all the information in presentation you can go through. And most important was this 5 minutes to go. Okay then, gentlemen, do we call it a day? I'll just unshare. One sec. Anirvesh, are you there?
Sir.
Anirvesh?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. Okay. Can we take a quick group photo? I'll request all the participants to put on the video and Anirvesh will take a photo. All participants? Okay, you have taken Anirvesh?
Yes, sir.
All are covered or other you can take one more shot with others? Okay, all the cover, Anvesh, you're done?
Yeah, sir. Done.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen, and thank you very much. And good night for today. If you have
Thank
any
you.
query,